that everybody can do, whether you have a bill you're trying to pay or a return you're trying to get recouped on. I want us to go over the very first thing that everybody can do, no
Please.
matter where you're at in the world. And as long as you have a computer and you can go to irs.gov and you can download an ES payment voucher and a 1041 or a 1040 voucher, I want all of us to start. All right. So
let me lay this out before
go ahead.
we get there. So you're saying people can utilize this with their just 1040 Social Security person. They don't need to have a trust set up. Is that what you're saying when you're mentioning that? Okay.
Let's do this. Let me share the screen.
Sure.
Let me share the screen and go to, let me just open up one of my deals. I'm gonna actually do a readout real quick.
Sure.
Let me close that window. Let me share screen again. Here we go. Let's see. Window. Let's see. I think it's this one. Dun, 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 dun. That's that one. That's that one. That's that one. Close.
So we all can see her screen?
You guys should be able to.
I'm just give me a few seconds here. I'm trying to actually find the proper screen so it'll be big. Give me 1 second.
And who said that? Who said that? Who was asking?
It's Godly Savage.
Hey, brother. Once she puts her screen up, you should be able to just click on it and it should turn big. I'm pretty sure. But once she shares, yes.
All they have to do is click on her face on the side, and she'll come right in the center.
Okay, beautiful. I think the screen share goes on a separate box when she does it, so you'll see it though. But yeah, like Magic said.
What's the best thing for everyone to do right now while I'm working on the window is go ahead and go to 1040 ES IRS form. Okay, grab it from the IRS. Just open it up on your own laptop right now while I'm trying to get my window open. That way you all will be able to print out a copy, highlight all the stuff that we're going to read through. It's one page. It's super simple, but go ahead and just open it up. You need to get familiar with printing that out because we get to help and teach each person what you're going to learn right now today. I'm trying to get the window open, guys. Give me one more second here to get back to okay. I'm just getting back to the share screen. Give me 1 second to figure out how to open up the window. I found it. Okay, here we go. I found it. All right, you should be able to see my screen right now. Can you?
Yeah, it's right below her box, guys. So if everybody clicks it, it'll open up right in front of you. It's if you guys see the bar of names to the right, but I see your screen. Let me know in the chat if you guys have trouble with that. Screen. Who is that, Magic?
When I click it, it doesn't make itself bigger, but I'm able to see it, but I can't make it bigger by clicking on it.
Are you on a computer, brother?
No.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah, should I get on a computer?
I mean, you're not. It's going to be small on your phone regardless. You know, it's not going to be huge. So, but if you want, just pull up the 1040 ES form in front of you and read along. Again, this is being recorded, guys. You'll be able to go through everything as many times as you want. You'll be able to download it from my Google Drive, everything. So, and turn your phone sideways too, brother. That might make it bigger.
Question also, is there a way to silence the notifications or stop the notifications from the chat because it keeps popping up and blocking the screen on my phone? And I'm just like, is there a way to stop it from popping up? Is there
you can hit the X at the top of the chat. It says chat and polls. There should be an X, and that'll close out the chat for you. Or you see the chat button at the bottom of your screen. I don't know exactly what it looks like on the phone. I'm on a computer, but there's right next to where you raise your hand. There's a chat button. When you click that, it'll close the chat.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So I have the chat closed, But every
No, go to
time
settings.
somebody
Go to
chats
settings.
every time somebody chats in the chat, a
Go,
pop-up comes up.
go
And
to settings and turn it off completely like I did.
Stats, breakouts, use.
Again, this will be recorded, brother. You're holding up about 300 people. Can we possibly we can continue with this, and you can watch this later if you need.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Not to be rude. I just
And everyone, just please make sure you're muted so we can hear her only.
All right, Kimberly, you got the floor.
Okay, everybody, can you all see this little, as I'm highlighting right now, this first part that I'm going to read? Can you all see that blue?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. I want to start it off with the context. Okay.
Is there supposed to be video up right now?
Wait, click on her. If you go to the very top of the chat, are you on your phone too? If you guys are on your phone, you need to click on her face, or right below her face, it says Kim Marie, running drummer screen. It's like another person. You need to click on her face, and you should be able to see the video.
Copy that.
Hold up anything, but when I double tapped on the screen where you could see, while it's small, where you could see what she's doing, if you double tap it, at least that's what happened for me. Now it's big.
Thank you, Letty.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for helping each other out. Yep. This is for the books. I mean, I find it interesting that very few people have ever even really talked about the ESs. That's how I know it was time to really start sharing about this. Okay.
Even Patrick didn't. Yeah. So I've studied his stuff through the book. So, but it makes sense. I understand what you're doing.
Okay. And let me just, for the record, and people listening to afterwards, the brilliant question that you asked. Okay. What made me look into the ES? I had a garnishment that had followed me from California, that I was studying and learning and reading on how to, let's say I had $1 million and I was able to write a check for the tax bill that had come into my mailbox. What then? How do I get the garnishment released for them to stop taking 25% of my Lyft driving paycheck every week? Now, how many of you in here can relate to that, what I just said? Hello? Everybody has had experience of being levied or liened maybe once or twice in this war that we're in, okay? So I love to take tests. And for me, studying all these instructions was like an open book test. I was like, let me see if I can solve this puzzle. Okay? So that's the context by which I enjoy reading every line by line. And when I see a word like happy, did any of you even see the word happy that I highlighted just now?
Wait, where?
Exactly. I'll wait until everybody gets their eyeballs on it. Okay. When you see the word happy in an instruction form from the IRS, you better pay attention.
Oh, I do see it. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it? Okay. Now we're all together on the same page here. Now you see what made me just drink and drink and drink and drink and drink, because I'm like, somebody's talking to me here. And if it's nobody else but God, I'm having a heyday here. Okay. All right. So when they say the word please, this is considered a prayer or advice from our back office secretaries whose job it is to keep all of our records. You'll soon see they're about to go away as a debt collector, and they're about to become a paymaster. All agencies with a dunce number were weaponized in the last 150 years. Full stop. Everybody knows this by now. So if there was money connected to an agency or a company or an organization, you better bet your bottom line there was no prayer, no God, and no justice. Okay? But here we're going to see that it's been here all along. And when those with eyes to see start to open their eyes, they start to see the prayers that we get to forgive the trespasses of the past, and that they weaponized the IRS and they turned it into the biggest bully we've ever been afraid of worldwide. And now they're about to be your paymaster. Okay? So
I like it.
let me just turn the vent off. I left my pot of boiling water, so I had to turn the vent on because it was.
You're fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I want to say this before we get going, before we start at the top. Okay. Because of all the context that I've given everybody, how important this is, there's a couple words that I need you to understand and never forget the definition of. Okay. So we're going to start right here. Keep, please, this is a prayer. Please keep this notice with your records. Why would they say that if it wasn't important?
Yeah, that is odd.
Right? Okay. It may help you if we ask you for other information. If you have any questions about the rules for filing and giving information, please call or visit. Please call or visit any Internal Revenue Service office. Interesting. The average time and expense required to complete and file this form, time and expenses, wait a minute. Time and expenses? That must mean I get to be paid for my time and my expenses. So I want to know how I create that energetic currency that might come back to me. Let's see what else. This is very curious to me. I'm excited. So it's going to vary depending on individual circumstances. For estimated averages, see the instructions for your income tax return.
Wow. You got to read between the. Why did they make it like that, though? You know, like you got to read between the lines, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you why. So that the CPAs who are paid to steal, the pirates who are paid with a letter of marque to come over on a ship and plunder, will never tell me any bank robber you've ever known with immediate gratification as its sole modus operandi that would ever take the time to read an instruction on how to rob a bank. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so at some point in our biblical history that we're in right now, there was going to come a day when we would have a revelation that you actually get to get back every dollar of an ES payment, and you get to get it back in the form of a what? Tax return? Do you see what I'm saying? This is a revelation we're having now. If you have any suggestions for making this package, now they're calling it a package, sounding a lot like Christmas. We would be happy to hear from you. See the instructions for it. They said it again now. They repeated it a second time.
Mm-hmm.
Instructions for your income tax return of dollar for dollar of every tax you paid. They never wanted us to find this stuff out. Just saying. Okay? All right.
Beautiful.
All right. So now, very important here. As soon as I read that, I was like, wait a minute. And I always check out the form before I put my energy into anything. I always skim the form. I always skim it. They tell you right here how to create a money order for your back office secretary to issue you a return. It's all right here. on every single voucher or ES payment. That's for a corporate ES, a 940 ES, a private foundation, or a nonprofit, all of it. It's all been here all along. Okay. So file only if you're making a payment. Well, we're about to find out what a payment actually can be. Oh, it's by a check or money order. We're actually going to look up the definition of what the IRS back office secretary calls a money order. Mail this voucher with your check or money order. There's your 1040V. Write it down. There is your money order. It's a 1040V.
Yep, it is.
As long as and if it's payable here. Now, what pirate do you know that's ever been willing to make any of their checks payable to the United States Treasury?
None.
None. Thank you for the right answer. You got please step forward. The price is right. You just answered perfectly. Okay. That's the truth. This is why people have missed this for the last 5 years. Write your. Oh, you mean this number that just got hijacked from the Social Security Administration's archives? Because the Social Security number is actually underwriting this. And because we are the bank right here. So who are we actually paying in the future? Us. If we're really in a self-governing republic, aren't we paying it forward into our future collectible? Aren't we actually the creditors of the bankruptcy? We don't have any of that debt, but we have all this credit that we have to go collect. Anybody that's ever been in a bankruptcy, what do? What's the indentured trustee do? He creates a settlement fund, an EIN. It's a special purpose vehicle, SPV. Many of you have heard that Trump's created a bunch of those since 2017, just saying. SPV is for a settlement. Maybe there's a class action lawsuit. Maybe there's a bankruptcy, and your creditors get listed. Not only can the creditors not come collect from you until the whole bounty of the settlement has been accounted for, but they are in line based on your monthly or quarterly or annual payments due and owing to that company that has now lost its ability to collect from you because you're in bankruptcy. In bankruptcy, who gets paid first? The creditors.
That's us.
And because they underwrote us a little bit of credit. Now, all of that aside, we already know now that by this, the minute we put our signature on something, what did we actually do? Ordered money. That's it. So if you can rebut the fact that I'm paying me, look at how it's bold and in quotes, folks. It's also, I'll turn your attention to upper lowercase.
That ain't a corporation.
That's our office. We are the taxpayers that make the payroll for those who work in our back office under the United States Treasury de jure.
And I remember you saying that you got your check from Philly, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Bureau of Fiscal Services.
Pat would always say that's the de jure treasury out in Philly. He would say that over and over.
Yes. So when the bank froze my ability to access my online banking statements and records, who did they actually steal from? We, the Treasury. Who got an automatic free audit the day that I reported that IRS agent?
You?
Well, yes, but guess who didn't have anything to hide? Me. And guess who else got audited? The bank that blocked my ability and access to online bank. And by the way, that business has been in business, family-owned bank, which rarely do you hear about that in the United States, since 1946.
Wait,
Just
what happened in
saying.
46?
Well, a lot happened in 1946, but that's when this family bank was established. I'm not going to say their name because this is going on a recorded
Sure.
training, right?
And guys,
So
I see some people have your hands up. If we can just hold, let her get through this. We're going to have a bunch of questions at the end. I know a lot of you are having audio issues. If that's the case, exit and re-enter. It must be on your end because most other people are saying that they can hear and see just fine. So this is, again, last time I'm going to say this is recorded. This will be posted on my Google Drive link in the link in my TikTok bio for free. And we'll try to get to questions at the end, okay?
Yeah, and this is, everybody's encouraged to go and, read the instructions themselves and bring their revelations that they get, which might be different than mine, bring it to our next gathering. Happy to have that. So get your highlighter pens out, have a binder with clear sheets that you go in and you just highlight all the revelations that you're seeing newly with, and put it in your binder for later referencing, right? It's so exciting. Okay. Enclose. But do not staple or attach your payment with this voucher. Money orders, checks, ACHs, paper that has a micker on it may need to be run through I can't remember what it's called, but the people who have access to being able to do ACHs, okay? Some businesses actually have a responsibility and a duty to write a business check right here, check or money order, because the businesses have a duty to report their ES payments. So some people will write a business check, like I told you all at the beginning of this call that I had to do because I was an S Corp working in LA. So dentists, chiropractic, anybody who works with the public and physically touches the public, okay? Probably even restaurants because they prepare food for the public. You have to have a business checking account where all of your expenses, including taxes, get paid out of it. Okay? So so think about, I don't know, probably 90% of Babylon is either a business, a sole prop, a corporation. All of us, all caps, we were all considered corporations also. That's why when we get a bill in the mail from the IRS, we think we have to pull it out of our personal checkbook and pay it, because everybody's been paying with their personal checkbooks, okay? But I'm here to show us that for the first time, we have a choice. We can actually do script by way of a money order attaching a 1040B. So they're trying to teach us right here, what do you mean by, what does the IRS mean by cash? What do they mean by money? And what do they mean by your payment? And what does attachment mean in Bouvier's? Okay, because I had a lot of training before I started studying these instructions. So for me, I was having a ton of revelations and no one to share it with. So I wasn't able to bounce it off of anybody to go, am I seeing this correctly? I mean, this is profound. This is biblical. You got it wherever you get your news. Everybody has heard by now that billions of people's Social Security cards got compromised, plundered, stolen, held for ransom. Okay, let's just call it held for ransom. Some hacker is holding it for ransom. Okay, if a Social Security Administration that's responsible for Marduk's unemployment, disability, or retirement fund gets its records held for ransom, what form of law does that fit under?
What form of law?
Yeah.
Fit under trust law.
Yes, but why? Say more about that.
Because the trust was set up when you was born, or a little bit after you was born, so they holding everything in your name, and they're the fiduciary or the
Okay, correct. Now, what if a hacker came along and jumped onto the SSA ship and grabbed all the files, all the computers, and all the records of all of us, 200 million of us in North America alone? What if a pirate came on and is holding all of those Social Security names and numbers and records for ransom? What would that give all of us the ability to do? To
Tort.
protect. Tort, yes, but why? Because a tort is a basis for a tort in common law is an injury of a person or their property. Trespass, injury, theft, detention, arrest. Okay, so if we were told that our records are being held for ransom, why wouldn't we be able to what's called an involuntary bankruptcy or a tort claim for a time? Why wouldn't we be able to use the Social Security number that we do have, realize that we're the actual owner and we're the only one that can file a claim against it? And if you have 4 children at home, as the master of your ship, you have a duty and responsibility to file a claim for your offspring. Because how are you supposed to actually work, or your children supposed to work, if the ID card or your permission to work by the compliance officers at the Social Security Administration have held you, your person, for ransom?
so that all of that would be insured, and we would be making a claim on the insurance.
Correct. 1000% correct.
Can I mention one thing too? I understand. Okay, I'm seeing the chat. I need to just close the chat for a second for myself, because I know a lot of people want a step-by-step tell me what to do, but y'all need to understand the reason we are in this mess in the first place is because we are not educated in how things work. Even Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Literally, to the T, what has happened. We're all in these situations because we don't know what's going on. We want to pay somebody to do something for us. We're trusting other people to act in our best interest. But you really need to grasp what is going on, and that's where you need to start. Even if you file forms and send them in, if you can't back up your claims, if they call you like they called Kim Marie and asked, why did you do this? What are you doing this for? And you can't answer those questions, you're going to be in a not good situation. So please try to just understand what's going on. There's resources in the link in my bio for free. Thousands of Patrick Devine audios where he explains all this stuff. There's templates in there to kind of get a grasp of what's going on that he put out for everybody. It's not going to give you the exact process, but this video will be in my link in my bio for you to go back to once you understand what is going on. I understand, like, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and I'm not saying that in a like haha way. Like I've been studying this for 5 or 6 years now. Okay. It's not going to take you that long, especially with all these hints she's given us and all the resources you have in this huge community we have. We can, make a group where you guys, if you want to connect with each other, create a Telegram group, talk with each other, work it through, have study groups. That's what I do. You'll get there. It's a foreign language, legalese, all this stuff, and you need to learn it in the nicest, most loving way possible. I love all you guys. I'm glad we could be here, but try to keep that in mind.
They do, Marduk, they do have a choice. Okay. Immediate gratification is I understand. I totally understand the impatience, and I really do get that. Some people, this is just a lot of data, and they really need to just take notes, just listen, let it wash over you. Don't try to understand everything right now. Know that divine revelation will come to you when your pen hits the paper. But I want to say something too to what Marduk is saying. Shoot, I lost it. Give me 1 second of quiet real quick. You have a choice. That's what I was going to say. You have two choices right now at this juncture where we're at in this landscape or climate, whatever you want to call it. I'm looking for my camera again. I think it's
Okay, Marie, just look at the right-hand side. If you click the box,
I found
the
it.
Top right of your screen.
Yep. Okay. Yep, I found it. Okay. There's many people who are already on the sidelines. They're tired. Their vessels are sunk. They've had their houses taken away from them. I get all that. There's a lot of injured people hobbling right now. If people want to wait, I promise you, we are all due reparations, and they're coming. I've known that for many years. It didn't stop me from wanting to study to learn how to help people right now, though. So many of you who have a job, who are, you're maybe you're getting benefits. I'm not getting any benefits monthly. I'm literally, by the grace of God, being taken care of, because it's not even safe to Lyft drive anymore in this town that I'm in because of all that. They're using Lyft drivers now as getaway cars. Okay, so it's been very unsafe for me to do that job. So I've just committed to doing this 100% of the time and having faith, and I know that I'll be taken care of. I just need shelter and food, and it's being provided. So I'm fine. So at the end of the day, people can wait, and there's going to come a day when you are going to get restitution, and you're not going to have to even probably ever look at one of these documents again. I know from people who've worked at the IRS for a long time, and I can assure you that these forever forms that we're getting, when you go to order forms at the IRS, oh, wow. Oh, cool. There's nothing but a date on it. Okay. If you were to order these and you get these, what's called forever forms, and you see how you can fill in the date or the year on that.
It says dividends and distributions. It's kind of blurry. What form is that? Oh, the 1099 DIV.
Do you see the calendar, though, of the year? Hold on. You see the calendar year, how you can fill it in?
Yes.
Okay. They call these forever forms, which means we get to go back as far back as we want, probably to the year 2000, and claim on these red checks. Okay. Why? Because in the future, when the IRS turns into the paymaster, we're going to be getting a year-end summary of what we spent, where we spent it, and what we're owed back, actually and honestly and lawfully and celebratedly. Okay. And if you agree with what their ledger keeping is showing you that you're due back, you just sign, stick it in the mail, send it off, and your return or your automatic deposit, direct deposit or whatever, it'll end up in your bank. We will not be having to think about how to recoup in the next 5 years. I'm telling you, this is all going to be available for anyone who wants to make a claim going forward. A business that might have gotten bought out, an old business of your parents, maybe, that you want to wind up all the affairs, but you don't want to leave any credits on the table. These are going to be available for anybody who wants to make a claim. But for so many years, everyone's been coveting all this information and no one's been really sharing with people. How can I pay myself once I found out that I could, being a trustee for my trust that I've had since 2009 and never, ever, ever got paid a penny, even though in my bylaws it says each trustee is supposed to get paid $50,000 a year. So I'm going back retroactively. That's what caused me to get that tax return on that third trust return, because I had all the receipts of all my out-of-pocket expenses, all of my billable services, even just picking up the mail in my private mailbox in California since 2009 was billable hours that I've never billed the IRS for back wages. So I finally decided to start doing that. But again, didn't have very many people in my life that understood it to the level that we're all starting to understand it. And I started with the ESs. I started with, hey, what if all of us want to make it really easy right now? And let's keep it really simple. Marduk wants to do this tomorrow. Let's keep it really simple. And let's just do 2023 right now. Let's
Get out your pens, guys.
Yep.
Get out your pens.
Let's just do a 2023 real quick, okay? So put 2023 at the top. Put ES payment 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's just quarters. If Marduk wants to pay himself his lost wages or wages he never got from his Mortmain account, $250,000. So someone divide 250,000 times 4 for me, or divide it by 4.
62,500.
Okay, $62,500. This is an example, as if Marduk wanted to do this, he would put 62,000 a quarter if he were really to get paid what a trustee gets paid. It's
Kimmery, are you ledgering this right now? People are wondering if you're working on a form. Yeah, so we're just ledgering right now, guys.
Yeah.
Make a box with 4 columns. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're filing quarterly, right? So that's where the dividing by 4 comes in for your yearly salary. So that's why she's saying each quarter you want to get paid 62,500. Write that in every single column right now. Just do that right now, okay? Sorry, Kimmery, go ahead.
Nope, you're good. Thank you for that. Now, someone's going to ask you, what makes you think you can get paid $62,000 a quarter? Okay, well, an attorney in fact, a commissioner, an advisor, a wealth manager, a broker,
a CPA.
CPA, 75 an hour minimum. Guess what trustees get paid to manage a trust? Bona fidely so. 200 to 250 to 300 if they're managing more than 10 accounts. It could be upwards of $550 an hour.
Wow.
That I never paid myself, never knew I could pay myself for managing, picking up the mail for all 7 trusts that I created way back in 2009. So when I realized I could pay myself and I did my 1041 and I filed for those trusts, that's why I've gotten back 3 tax returns so far. It's for back wages. 1041 ES.
Oh, okay. So when you're talking about doing the trust return and utilizing those entities, let this sink in, guys. She was a trustee for that trust for however many years. So the way she recouped that money for her back pay for not getting her compensation, not income, compensation. She's doing the 1041 ES for her trust and then filing a 1041 tax return, as well as, I'm assuming, a 1041V payment voucher.
Correct.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep.
But we'll get into that more. Please continue. This is wonderful.
This is perfect. Yes. Okay. So I was just going to do a real quick calculate. Give me 1 second to calculate. So it was 2009 plus 2023. No, how do I do that? How many years is that? Oh, I got to subtract. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm literally like,
2009 would be 14 or 15 years.
Okay, thank you. So 15. So 15
I'll be
years.
your calculator.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So 15 years. Let's just say I've been picking up mail at the private mailbox, lost in the sea of commerce. Okay, I was a hairdresser for many of those years, working as a 1099. Was working for different film companies, and they would 1099 me because I'm a hairdresser and I have a skill. So they would just 1099 me when we finished working on a film. Okay, so 15 years times, 250,000 is minimum if you think about the hours that you spend ledgering and managing. So let's just go 15 years times.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we doing this to 2023? Is that what you said? Or 2024? Yes. Okay, so that's 14. My apologies.
Okay, 14. Let's just do 14. Okay, real quick. Do the math. 250 times 14 years. Wait a minute. Why is that? Hold on. Why is that not? 250,000. Sorry. I'm shorting myself. See, I'm telling you, we're so not used to this. 250,111. Okay. 250,000 times 14 years. Okay. So minimum. Okay. This is just minimum. Just to keep everything easy, let's just say 250,000 a year we're owed for running a family, managing a business. Maybe we've had a gig, 2 side jobs. Minimum for being a trustee, the private mailbox is still open. In the compliance officer's eyes, Briar Hill New Horizons Trust is a boat that is docked in a private mailbox where it's irrevocable trust. There were 4 trustees that settled another 7 or 9. I brought 3 over here to Texas that I'm working out of. So imagine I've got 9 trusts that I settled back in 2009 when I was helping other people, and I was the agent for their trust. Now, 3 or 4 of those people have actually passed away. But I'm still the trustee responsible to get their surviving wife and children the new mana. I'm the trustee of record. And now I have this new knowledge. I get to get them back their funds that their husband who died should have been paying himself and his family all those years. Because if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for him, right?
Right.
On the record, I'm his trustee. I never charge them for anything except for literally an administration fee of $150 to put their documents together so their family could be put into a trust, and they had a trust now that couldn't get garnished or levied. That was the best I could do at the time with the knowledge I had at the time. So I just charged for my printing and, my documents and because I was gifted the trust templates and the signatory pages, and they were all irrevocable common law trusts. Okay. So because I was gifted that, I just went to work helping other people with that. And a lot of people did not know how to do all this stuff. So I agreed to be their agent for free, which means I had to put that trust name at my private mailbox, and I had to pay $14 a quarter per trust that received mail at that private mailbox. That's an agent of service.
Sure.
And all these years, we've been paying like $160 a year just so that those trusts can have a viable business address to collect returns on at.
Mm.
Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait,
so,
and you guys,
go
for
ahead.
those of you asking about 1099s and stuff right now, what we're focusing on is just your lost wages, your lost compensation. Okay. All you're doing right now is she's tallying up all those years where she never got paid for her services and was an indentured servant, essentially, and she's recouping her lost salary. Okay. So that's it. There is no form number right now. This is just ledgering on a piece of paper. Okay.
And I'm going to tell you the best advice I got, which allowed me to run home and file those tax returns, 1041s. When I was trying to move one of my trusts here, I took my irrevocable common law trust over to, I had a non-interest bearing account at Chase. And I was trying to now open up a private trust account so that I could wind up my affairs with my trust being residing in California. I wanted 3 of them now to reside in Texas. Okay. So what was I doing? Trying to establish the banking. I had a private mailbox here where my 3 trusts could receive. It's called the firm book, and it's called responsible mail. If you're
accountable mail
for other people's money, you are considered what I would call, you are a trustee fiduciary, you're attorney in fact, you're basically doing all this administration, but you're not getting paid for it. So I had started finally getting claiming back for me because I had a duty to do that so my ship wouldn't sink. So this is called accountable mail. Sorry, not responsible mail, accountable mail, okay? So accountable mail is a ledger where if I'm in the process, if I've sent over my ESs to the accounting department at the IRS on behalf of Marduk, let's say, because he's working on my ship and I'm the compliance officer, and my job is to get his reporting in of what his payer promised to pay him on a 1099. My job is to make sure I get all those dropped in the mailbox the minute we hit shore, wherever we're at, right? So a compliance officer would behoove themselves to take care of their records in a firm book. And then if you're taking care of a family or offspring or an estate, which I'm not, I have animals and a longtime boyfriend. I don't have an estate. It's me, myself, and I basically out in the world. Okay. And so, but if you have a husband or children, then you're technically, by nature of trust law, you are technically considered a private estate and a living trustee taking care of all you and your offspring. And that's where the manifold comes in. If your son's getting ready to go to college and he goes and finds a car at a dealership, he gets the purchase order and he goes and he puts it on his damn dad's desk. That's how the rich people have been doing it. Here's my latest want, Dad. The dad gets the invoice and the dad procures the ES payments because the kid's getting ready to go off to college and he's the one that does the taxes for his kid anyway. Well, while he's in college, the dad still gets to write the kid off, right? So the dad's going to want to benefit from the fruit of his labor. His offspring is still part of the farm, part of the estate, part of the home workers.
That's his ship.
It's his ship.
He's the captain, and his kids are the workers. Yeah,
that's right. And we all were supposed to get allowance back in the day, and now we're just recouping our allowance we were supposed to get. Okay, so we would put that invoice, and then the father actually gets to get back in a recoupment in a tax return, gets to get back any college tuition fees that he pays. It's called the business of the family expense,
Wow.
right? So the son is going and learning and educating himself while the father still allows him shelter here but pays for his apartment at college. But the family are still sharing all the proceeds, or I call them units, because we're just circling them around until we're made whole, until we get our credit where credit is due back in the safe at the house. Right?
When you look at these wealthy families too, they all have their trusts there that they operate through, and they pool their wealth into, and I guess recycle their credits as I'm now starting to kind of see how this works.
If you're either recouping them or abandoning them, that's it.
Sure. And that's generational wealth too, right there.
Now, because I know that Nasara and Jassara is coming, because we've all been injured by having our Social Security cards, I know in my heart of hearts what's around the corner is all of us are about to get a stipend of like $4,000 a month or something like that. We are all going to get time to rest and recoup. Okay, I know this. But I love this game that I've learned, because my favorite game when I was a kid was Monopoly, of course, because I realized at an early age that you get to pull out all your little construction paper and you can make your money look like anything you want. I mean, that's what I was doing when I was like 9 years old. Okay. So what our golden tickets in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, my favorite movie, what our golden tickets look like right now, receipts, what they actually, a claim ticket, what it looks like right now, because of the way our system is set up. Watch this. It's going to blow your mind right now. So many of these they're all stamped.
You're going down memory lane right now, huh?
Yeah, these are so much processing in 3 years, you guys. Oh my God, I have so much coming back to me. This one was interesting. I'll talk about that in a second. This one is campus support. I think I might have all my ones that a bank signed it actually in one single binder, because those are securities. For a while there on my ESs, when you get a stamp back, guess what? You're going to get, I don't know. It's so much is changing so fast though. It was being stamped from JP Morgan. Big ol' stamp, JP Morgan for the Internal Revenue Service.
On the return receipt?
Bank, security, green card, bond number, tracking number,
Sure.
ledgerable event. Okay, a lottery ticket. Okay, how do you know that you won the lottery and someone else didn't? Because you have that lottery has a specific ID number on it. Well, every single one of these have a specific number on it. And 3 years ago, they even started adding a separate barcode number for the green card. Okay, that's how come I know that these are all securities. Okay, now, can you say, haven't been made whole yet? And my job is to keep them. And now let me tell you also the most important part of the receipt. Circled and tell us how we're doing, because we're public and we're private. But in order for us to maintain our status as essential during martial law, we'd love it if you would use this QR code and tell us how we did today with your giant mailing, making them. I would not be able to do commerce or communicate under martial law if it wasn't for the post office. How many of you know that?
I know that they're the first bank, that's for sure.
Tell me this is not a vote for essentiality. For a trust who's gotten 3 tax returns so far. Out of 3 years of processing, I've gotten 3 back. You want to know why?
Tell me.
Because for the first 2 years, I created way too much credit, so my ship is lopsided. Get it? See, basically the credit's sitting over there, and until I actually recoup it, it's abandoned. And if I die before I get my lottery ticket, they have a duty as a fiduciary to go back 3 years, settle any tax bills that I may have had, pay for the funeral expenses if my body doesn't get acclaimed by anybody. And they have a duty to make sure I rest in peace. Because why? They get to profit off of all the interest that went back into the what? Charitable remainder trust.
So, Kim Marie, let's try to. You were ledgering really quick. So with the ledger, let's try to go through that, because there's people. I'm about to. You guys are asking a lot of the same questions in there. I know you're impatient. Let's just hear what she has to say. But real quick, for the paying ourselves and the ledgering, you said back to 2009 is what you were doing, right? What did you say?
Okay. So I was doing, so do 3 million times 7.
Why are you doing 3 million?
Oh, because I did 250,000 times 14 years is what minimum I'm due back from each trust, from one trust.
Okay.
That's 21 million.
Is that 21 million? Okay.
Wait, times 4.
No. So 7 he just did the math for me. So 3,500,000 times 7 trusts that I worked for no pay.
Oh no, that's more than 21 million. You see, at the 5 then that would be an extra 24.5 or 25.
Okay. All right. So my records show 24,500,000 would be a base of lost wages that I'm now operating under the doctrine of discovery, the benefit of discovery. The minute you realize you left your credit, didn't claim it, and abandoned it, and we get a notice that our Social Security cards are being held for ransom, I'm getting my pen out, getting ready, because I'm taking that personal, and I'm saying, I'm owed myself 24 million. I best cough up that ransom. You feel it?
Yeah, because it's their duty to pay the beneficiary before anybody else. And the fact, I was missing that until now, but it just clicked. It's their duty to pay the beneficiary of that trust. Who's the beneficiary of that trust? Supposed to be us. And now that it's in the hands of the general public, they have to act now before somebody else takes the money.
That's exactly right.
Otherwise, they're in breach of fiduciary capacity, or they are that's a breach of trust.
It is a breach
of a lot of sense. Okay.
And it also, what you just got is the basis for why we were given the enforcement that we were only a few weeks back, that who's the new record keeper of all of our claims. We've never had enforcement. So if anybody in the gallery is saying, okay, fine, they breached the trust, they never paid me before, what's going to make them pay me now? Now there's enforcement if they don't perform. We get to send our claim to 3,000 something headquarters. I'll make sure everybody has the address. Because before you pop that little ransom in the mailbox, you should know ahead of time, if they don't perform for you, where you get to go complain. Performance? If I'm injured as the Benny and I'm not paid, I have to be able to report it to somebody who's in charge of the records.
Sure.
Marines, the only ones who can go arrest a president of a treasury, a court officer of any kind, any kind of a policy enforcer, any kind of a bill collector, any kind of a banker, any kind of a lawyer, any kind of a title of nobility, all the ones that have been holding all of our proceeds, all of our award or all of our settlement or all of our whatever, all of it's been being held back by the gatekeepers who didn't want us to know how to do what we're learning how to do right now. So now they're all actually in breach. We're moving them out of the way and we're turning in our claims.
So you're
They
telling me I
told
need to
us-
send this to Jeremy's house if they don't perform?
No.
I'm
So
joking.
in order for the paymaster, which is the treasury, the comptroller, and the de jure trust escrow account, where all that gold got clawed back, all the sale of P. Diddy's houses and all those people's houses for human trafficking, the sale of all those houses, all that gold, all that asset value got clawed back, and it's sitting in the de jure, ready for the sovereign to come and claim their portion. I'm not going to stop when I start getting $4,000 a month. I'm not going to stop because I have a duty to get this back for all of my years of energy that I didn't know I could get.
You're reporting. What does reporting mean? You are bringing the bills back to the port.
And I'm grabbing provisions for my love boat so I can actually be out in the world teaching people, teach one, preach one.
Yeah.
Because even if someone's satisfied with $4,000 a month and they don't want to do any of this, they don't have to. What if they never had a business? What if they're not called to go back and recoup? That's fine. Be happy with your $4,000 a month and go off and create your life. Go off and vacation, go off and relax, do whatever you want. It's going to be free will choice from here on out, everybody. Everybody.
But I encourage everybody to not sit and wait, because we need to be competent and handle our own affairs. That's what, if you read the Bible, especially, like, you need faith without works is dead, so need to, I understand what you're saying. There's some people who it's really hard for them to grasp their head around this, but half the time the conspiracy theorist in me says too, like, they just want me to be sit around waiting. You know what I mean? So we need to be proactive about this kind of stuff. And I absolutely love how, it's simple to me. I'm happy to, we'll chat about this some more, guys. We go on TikTok live like every night too, so we can talk about it, in the future. But let's hear, you did your ledger, right?
Okay.
You have your ledger, your quarterly.
Yeah.
What's your owed quarterly?
Yeah, so we'll just go back to 2023 and make it simple and do one claim at a time. So now we're back to 2023. I'm giving you the basis by which I'm creating my worth and my value and my generational wealth going forward in time.
Yes.
Okay? So since we can't file for 2024 yet, we can deposit 2024's of what we intend to live on when 2024 rolls around. So what we're starting with is 2023, because that's the only one that the accounting department in Kansas City, Missouri, they actually have a ledger for 2023 that they can fill up like a cookie jar and pop out your tax return because you just sent in your ES and your V claim. Okay? Those credits within about 2 weeks will show up on your transcript, your individual transcript, if you do a 1040. Any credits you're looking for from the trust side is all private. You're going to have to, if you want to see a transcript from that, you have to do a 1046T. You have to make sure you put the taxpayer and who's the fiduciary and what years and what quarters do you want, and they have to fax all that to you because you may want to be doing a final accounting, and you may want to terminate a trust, and you may need a final accounting so you can just wrap it all up. But that's a whole other thing. I want all of us to start to pay ourselves as the sovereign through the 1040, 1040X amended, or a 1040 NR if it's someone in your family who's passed on, or a 1040 SR if you're at retirement age, receiving qualifying for retirement benefits. Okay. And so we're just going to work on 2023 because everyone can do 2023 and stick that in the post office. Okay. By the end of the week. So 2023, I'm saying I'm worth minimum $250,000 a year, $662,000 a quarter. Okay, fine. And now we're going to fill that out and we're going to put the information on the front of it. You all understand now and know what cash means. Don't send cash, but send a money order. So consider this ES is a money order and the
Transmittal
receipt.
form.
It's yes. So it's a so the ES would be like a prayer and the 1040V would be like a cash payment because both of them are paid to the United States Treasury for credit side gets handled. The V gets handled, but you take the full amount in total and you put that in the V box, flip it over, pay to the United States Treasury for credit to Social Security number, tax form 1040B, tax year 2023, and then you write out the amount just like you would if you were writing a check and you had to write in cursive. $250,000, no cents. And you put a little negative sign in front of it because that means credit. But you just did cursive and you just wrote the amount out because you're actually creating real money of exchange. Okay? A unit of exchange or a negotiable instrument. Why negotiable? Because some people may not have paid their or filed their tax returns in the last 3 years and they have a little debt sitting over here. If they look on their transcripts, they're going to see, oh, your business, you didn't file the last 3 years. So we went back and did an audit and it shows that you owed for whatever. Let's say that you've got a little outstanding debt over there. Well, when you send in your ESs and your V, you're holding them harmless to do the accounting and send you back whatever is true and just based on the accounting that they have connected to your social. So they may send you an adjustment letter and they may say, well, we saw that there was a frivolous filing done in 2022. We charged you $5,000 for that. So we changed your tax return from $250,000 to $249,050. Okay. So they will be in touch with you though, because they're the accounting, they're the bean counters. So their job is to close out and settle your books for 2023. And until your debt is paid, they can't issue you an overpayment. It's just like if you have a bank account that's overdrawn, until you get the bank account back liquid or back even, they have to charge you overdraft fees because what's happened is we lost this person. This person is lost in commerce now, and they've abandoned their contract with us. And so we're charging their account in hopes of getting them off the couch and waking up. If they passed out in their car from asphyxiation, we're hoping, if we ping you enough, someone's going to open up your bank statement and see that you're in trouble. Okay. So 2023. Okay. So now you've got it.
Kim Marie, if you're not, I just got the bandwidth warning again. Turn off your share screen until you're ready to share again.
Yep, I'm going to share right now.
You can leave your camera on if you want, or just do one or the other for now.
Okay. Okay.
It's, I guess, taking a lot of bandwidth. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm going to share the ES form, and I'm going to show you all the worksheet now that you're looking at, and show you that that's the one that you would keep Here we go, back to the ES. Okay. All right, so we're going to go back over here to the worksheet. So now here's your 4 quarters that you get to put your 250 divided by 4. Okay.
That makes sense. So
keep for your records. Look, they cannot tell you enough. This is a security. They may ask you for the ledger. They may ask you for a copy of the back of your check or something. They might ask you for that. You can send them your record and the front and back copies of your script that you wrote to order your money. That's how I got credits, 1.7 in credits on my transcript just from doing ESs.
So if I'm getting ahead a little bit, but if you click on her little share screen right now, you'll see she has a 1040 ES in front of you. If you can't click on her screen, pull it up on your phone. Okay. What page number is this, Kim Marie? 2? Page 2?
It is page 9.
Page 9. On page 9 at the top, it says record of estimated tax payments, in parentheses, farmers, fishermen, fiscal year taxpayers. We are ledgering right now the quarterly, future, or past. In this instance, we're ledgering how much money we were supposed to get in wages every quarter. There's 4 quarters in a year, just like there's 4 quarters in a dollar. Okay, she's saying $250,000 is what I'm supposed to be getting as a trustee, attorney in fact, CPA, because I'm wearing all these hats in commerce and I'm not getting paid. I'm pretty sure that's the definition of indentured servitude. If you're doing all this stuff, you're not getting paid. So here she's ledgering for each quarter. If she came to the conclusion that I'm owed $250K a year for everything I do and my expenses, she broke it down between 4 quarters, $62,500 for the first quarter, $62,500 for the next, and so on. In the next column, she's writing the date that she was to be paid that, the same date that's showing in the payment due date. The check number, where is that coming from, Kim Marie?
So I made this up. What this could be is your certified mail receipt number on all of them.
Would that be the same certified mail receipt number, or what do you mean by that?
Well, let's say someone wants to do all 4 years for 2023 in advance. So it would just go in one certified mail package. And then that, yeah. Now, the other thing you could put, let's see, money order number. You could also put, if you didn't have room for a certified mail receipt number, you can put the OMB. Hold on. This is where right? The OMB number of the form that you paid yourself to fill out.
Which is the ES.
40V. Let's go V now, the voucher for 2023.
And the voucher, the reason she's doing that, the voucher is the money order, guys. When you turn that into a money order. So the ES is making the claim or the prayer.
Yep.
It's the report. Think of it as the report. You're letting them know it's a notice. And the 1040V is the money order for the credits that she's claiming on the notice.
So you could put OMB number here and create your own identifier at the end. You could do 1545074 2023.
Are you on a different window right now, Kim Marie?
Oh,
because I can't see what you're doing.
I did. I went to the 1040B real quick. Sorry, I thought it was sharing. Give me 1 second. One second. Oh, entire screen. Here we go. I thought I did that last time. Here it comes.
It's okay.
All right. You see it? 1040?
Yes. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, so you can create your own identifying numbers if you want. You can use the OMB number here on the right side. We've got a CAT number 20975C. We've got, you can just you can create your own identifying number. On these, what it says here, okay, So important when you read the instructions, which we will do this in a minute, but I'm going to pop back over to the ES so we get that complete. It's important for you to know these are the locations where typically the V attached to a payment coupon. Okay, there's a reception center, and then there's a accounting adjustment payment center. Okay, so
I'm guessing we want B.
Well, but what happens is if once you put both vouchers in the same envelope, even though the instructions say send it here, if you live here, okay, this is just like a routing for different people who have to file state returns. Because these states, some of the states, you have a state filing. In this case, an ES is, so an ES and a voucher is, they don't know until you file your return whether you're filing as just a federal return as an independent contractor, sole proprietor, small business return, let's say a sole proprietor tax return, okay, which would keep it federal. If you file a 1040 or an SR or an NR, there's been a check and a balance between Social Security Administration and the local, we'll call it local, stateside, local filer. They have to cross-reference and cross-check when you file a tax return that's anything other than just a withholding tax return. So when you send these in, it goes into an accounting record. They wait for your tax filing, your tax return that you're filing, to make the adjustment, the settlement, the closure. They will put a 1040V and a 1040ES on your transcript that your Social Security person has access to. They will do that. They will put those credits there. When the credits start to get really high, what I noticed is they scoop them off and put them on the private side so that you collect it on a 1041 or a 541 for a fiduciary or a trustee, because now you're dealing in higher tax bracket, like a higher tax return bracket, right?
Sure.
So notice that they say no checks of 100 million or more accepted. Okay. I mean, the minute that I read that, I was like, are you kidding me?
Guess who got 100 million?
No. Let's stay modest here, guys. Don't
I
shut this
know, I'm
down
just,
for everybody.
but I did see the EFTPS system on this same application we looking at.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We can integrate that in this procedure.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a whole other beautiful basket of nothing but love. So some people, you know how we've been asked for the last 2 years to take your IRAs, take your money out of the banks. Remember? What
Basically,
if really,
yeah.
Okay, what if trust babies or people with lots of money had, 10 million, 30 million stowed away in an investment brokerage account, right? That was their family was going to live on that for the next 3 or 4 years. But we're in a martial law situation where everybody's saying, take your money out, take your money out. Why do you think they told us to take the money out of the brokerage accounts?
Is the system going to change? I don't know. Why?
Yeah, but why wouldn't your $50 million be safe in a brokerage account?
Tell me. I want to know.
Okay. If the ones who've been stealing from our Social Security cards for at least 75 years.
Oh, they're going down.
Have been doing 100 million or less in their stealing. What's what is there to protect us from having our retirement and all of our savings wiped out by the banks worried about a bank run? So
Right.
what are we actually doing? When we were hearing from from people on these news sites, Restore the Republic, whatever, to take your money out, that it's not safe. It's because they were trying to say without saying, the pirates are actually the banks. Okay? We're shorting the banks. What are we shorting them of? Liquidity, Basel III compliance of having collateral so that they can't make loans if you don't have the collateral. If you don't have the deposits, you can't make the loans, right?
Right.
What has FDIC always been in place to protect the banks from?
The insurance.
Thank you. So why would this be no checks of $1 million or more are accepted?
Because it's insured at 100 million.
That's exactly right. And you best believe those brokerage firms, those escrow holding account holders, you best believe they've been writing checks for 100 million off our backs for 75 years and tucking away that money in a little Panama bank account somewhere offshore. Yo, they call that money laundering and stealing in my world. Can I get at least an amen on
And a
that?
hallelujah.
Amen,
Okay.
sister.
How'd you juju? How'd you juju?
Oh.
Okay. All right. So now our base currency has been so debased that our dollar bill, which is the only thing that is actually has 4 quarters in it, the dollar bill is still tradable currency that has the value of 4 quarters in it. But because I don't know if you know this, but when you take a dollar bill and you create a denomination of $5, what you've just done is 1 divided by 5. So the $5 bill, while it makes you think that it's more than $1, it's actually a ratio in a trade transaction of a unit that's been debased. So $10 is 10 into $1. So now you see why JP Morgan had an interest in shorting the marketplace and hoarding, more like hoarding, not shorting, but hoarding all the silver and the price of the silver to suppress the demand for silver and gold so that none of us would get a heads up that the banks might be running out of collateral sometime soon. And that we might do well with holding silver or gold in our safe at home rather than a stash or a cache of $100 bills. Because a $100 bill is really just 100 100 divided by the value of 4 quarters in a marketplace regarding transactions. So the higher you go in a denomination, the more liquidity the Federal Reserve had to create by way of paper that was baseless and backless and no gold in it, because there was a demand for what? Transactions. So if we don't have, if the bread at the store, we can't buy it for $1, they make us have to break a $5 bill now. What does that create in the economy? A demand for more debased $5 bills. So they're raising the price of the bread. It's actually a hidden tax that you're paying by having to bust out the 5.
Wow. So what about the postal money orders? Are those really back $1,000?
So that's what I was going to say right now. Look at what I just highlighted. The only thing that is insured at $1,000 a transaction is a $4/4 or a dollar money order. So if you buy a $10 money order, you've actually just underwrote $10,000 of silver or gold. Basically, you backed it with your golden signature, because it's called the biblically speaking, it's called the law of returns, tenfold returns, sevenfold returns. It's
7 times 77.
Yeah. So, okay, I can't remember exactly how, but I'm just trying to give you guys an understanding. I got to talk a little bit lower because I'm in a studio that's an old warehouse. It's an old energy building, and my voice carries like crazy through the walls. So, okay, I get so excited. I have to use my inside voice. Okay.
No, I love it. You have so much energy. It's crazy.
All right. So check it out. Pay by cash, let's say at the post office, at an in-person payment option for individuals provided through retail partners. Here's your post office, with a maximum of $1,000 per day per transaction. What did we just say cash was? A money order, it's a promissory note. When you buy a loaf of bread for $5 and the cashier gives you $3 back and a receipt, what did you just get back? You got a receipt that's promising to pay you back your $2 you paid for the bread because you voted to keep the grocery store in business another quarter. It's a vote. And we're paying the tax on it, and every transaction is an excise tax due back to us dollar for dollar if and when we report it. So technically speaking, because we now know the new meaning of cash, we can actually times each dollar by 1,000 and turn our country back into a credit-based country instead of a debt-based country because we abandoned all of our credits. So if you go over here back to the ES, tell me if it switches over.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So, let's go right here back to
recording has stopped.
uh-oh.
Magic, the recording timed out again. Would you mind starting it over? Magic, you there? Let me text her real quick. This is an important part.
Oh, this is so huge right here.
Recording is on.
Okay. All right. Notice to taxpayers presenting checks. Okay. Remember how we used to get canceled checks in the mail and they would say, you can use this like an original check? They're not talking to the average person who doesn't understand, but I already wrote the check and I already cashed the check. My bank just sent it back to me like a receipt. Well, it's a canceled check means it's a credit due back to you if you expense it on a Schedule D as a sole proprietor. But they didn't teach us all that. So what they're saying here, they have to let you know why you're not going to get a microfiche or copy. You're not going to get the copies back from the accounting department in Kansas City. Your receipt is really your certified mail receipt, your tracking number, your green card, whatever. They're not going to send you back a digitized copy because our taxes are private information. And they don't want anybody holding us hostage until we get our tax return in the mail. And then they take our tax return and they slice our throat and they take off with our money. They don't know who is at home that's in danger. They just don't know. So they're trying to keep us safe. Everything I think about everything from insurance and liability perspectives. So when I read this, I'm reading it as the guardian responsible for my voiceless 18-year-old autistic niece. I'm reading it for her. Does that make sense? So
For sure.
when you provide us what we're all calling a check as payment, which is an ES and a voucher, okay? You authorize us either to use information on your check or money order to make a one-time electronic fund transfer. If you happen to send it to us from your business bank account, we're just going to ping it once. Or from your account, or I always love it when they give me the or because it's a choice. What perspective? Is your glass half full or is it half empty? Do you have a Mortmain account where there's a ton of credits that you haven't used? Or are you going to take the victim stance and say, I don't have enough money to pay in my bank account, IRS, F you. So either or, I get to make a choice now. I'm sovereign and I'm making my free will choice. Or to process the payment as a check transaction. Get it? So when we use information on your check to make an electronic funds transfer, funds may be withdrawn from your Mortmain account as soon as the same day we receive your payment. There's your EFTPS right there. They will only take it off the private brokerage closed set-off account first before they'll take it from your labor. They're always looking for the credit side to do a withdrawal from your Mortmain account. So if the bankers and attorneys have been able to do this for millions of dollars, guess who gets to do it now and better? So, and you will not, they have to tell us, they're not going to send us back a copy of our script that we made, payable to the United States Treasury. And you will not receive your check back from the financial institution. So they've always been very great with letting me know, we just need to see a copy of your canceled check, the back of your check, the copies of your ledger, copies of your statements. They call them statements. Okay, we need a copy of your statement. They're not asking for a banking statement, they're asking for this. Think of an ES as a statement or a money order directive.
Your employee statement.
Yes, employee statement. Perfect.
We
There
can
you go.
send in the payment as a 1040V, connect all of our debts to the EFTPS, and they'll settle it and send us back a refund from the payment that we sent on the V.
Well, you would claim, so that's getting ahead of what we're talking about here. We're talking about paying yourself for your missing salary, okay? But I'm assuming, I don't want to get sidetracked because there's people who are not.
He may know something about EFTPS that we don't know about. Can you just, since I brought up the EFTPS, are you telling us, fine gentlemen, that you have sent in an ES and a voucher into the EFTPS Colorado address and received a tax return?
No, I know somebody that got some of their stuff settled and they send returns, they send refunds from it. So when I got my PIN number from EFTPS, I set my account up and you can attach all of your stuff there and get it paid. So as you were saying,
wait, hold on. So attach your receipts where?
attach, like if you got a credit card account, you can attach your credit card account to the EFTPS and pay
Like
it.
actually link like my Capital One account, I'll log in and link it on the EFTPS.
Yeah. And so as she was saying that, it just clicked in my head. Maybe that's how that works, because it just said either we'll take a payment from your account or we'll do that as a check, that payment as a check. And we know that the 1040V is a cash payment, right?
Yeah, but I guess, yeah, so perfect. Thank you for this. But the dots that aren't connecting for me yet. Okay, so let me share it this way. What I've been able to do with EFTPS, when Chase closed my non-interest bearing account, it turned it into a set-off account, and I had used the private credit side of that non-interest bearing account to pay a $250,000 back payment. It's called a TRC, a transfer. I transferred it from my private side of my non-interest bearing account, so the credit side of Chase, to a I authorized them, so it created an electronic funds transfer confirmation number. I took that, made a copy of that, or a let's see, an inquiry, a question, a payment, an inquiry, a payment. I can't remember what the other one was, but anyway.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You used a lot of brain power on us today. You did.
Okay. I actually haven't eaten anything. I'm literally living on the spirit of you know. And I have not eaten anything, and it's already 5 o'clock, and I don't want to eat anything, and I want to keep going. So here we go.
So, Marie, can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Did I hear you say this? You applied. Did I hear you mention earlier something about your business and it has some debt to the Attorney General?
Yes.
Okay, so how do I apply this to my businesses?
Okay. So the work that I'm doing right now with the Attorney General. So, oh boy, this is a recorded call. Let me just give a scenario, Marduk, because this is important. And kind of the reason why I hadn't shared yet, because what success looked like to me, I thought my process needed to be over before I could share the successes I was having on the way on my path, right? So I want to share with all the business people right now what I innocently did. And for me, what I learned from that lesson is that the trust tax return that I got needed to go into a trust account because it was for the benefit of another, even if that another is me.
Sure.
Okay. So while we're in this transition, so what I did was I deposited the check into my designee, a fiduciary, trustee. I'm the everything for myself. There's no one else to do it for me but me. So I deposited it in my bank account, and I went to work investing in my bookkeeping business that I have here in Texas. It's a registered business. It's an LLC. And I went to work and I opened up 5 accounts. I opened up a tax account. I opened up a savings account. I opened up a investment account, a hub account that all the bills get paid out of. And I opened up a CD for $250,000. Okay. 5 accounts. I'm a single member in the LLC. So here I am, 7 accounts at this bank that I just deposited 1.8 in. Okay. Out of the blue, that same guy that interviewed me last year was questioning my bill for that same LLC I was talking about. And out of the blue, I went to go online and check my bank balance, and I was going to transfer some money over, and I had no access to my online banking. I had no idea that there was this conversation going on between the security and fraud
Recording
division.
has stopped.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, let's keep it off for a minute. I had no idea.
Hey, can everybody mute, please? Jerome, can you mute? And there's somebody else who has their mic on. That there's some feedback. Let's just hear what she has to say.
It was me. I was just letting it be known that that's the reason why I stopped it, so that she could speak.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. I'm not going to give any names anyway. I'm just going to give the scenario so you guys have my testimony, full disclosure. Okay. So all of a sudden, I don't have access to my online banking, and I've got, let's see, I had 1.8 plus 70,000 in the account at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in the same bank. I didn't move the money really out of the banks at all. I was just investing in my business, and all my accounts were there. So all of a sudden, I'm on hold for a while, and the fraud and security division, they put me on the phone with this gentleman. Well, this gentleman happened to be the same person that asked me for me to identify myself at a notary, and he wanted my trust certificate, and he wanted any other documents or paperwork that might be different than the account holder had on file. So I immediately went and got all that to them. He gave me like 4 or 5 days to get that information to him. So I got that in. Well, he wanted more than the trust certificate. So I thought that was interesting, but I went ahead and complied because here I am getting ready to hire the wealth management division to help me wrap up all my trusts and stuff from California and move them, whatever, here to Texas, what have you. I was getting ready to hire them, and they only will take a customer if they have $1 million or more in wealth. So I'm thinking this is just protocol because I'm getting ready to move in. I was getting payroll accounts set up, and then I was getting interviewed. I had already had a meeting with the wealth manager to start having him help me with my other trusts. And so I thought this is just how their bank does it. No problem. So I went and got the notary, went and got the certificate of trust, gave them all that. Then he wanted the whole trust res. Now,
that's illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal. Anybody that knows this in trust law, what you need to know is if a trustee gives over private, confidential, anything from a trust without the prior written consent of the other trustee or the principal trustee or even the Benny, depending on how it's set up, that I can be fined $100,000 and fired on the spot.
Yeah, breach of trust.
It's a breach, okay? But me, because I'm wearing 2 hats, I'm the Benny and I'm the trustee. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to enlist their services to help me wealth manage for my Benny, that's the minor, and my adult person, that's the trustee. And I want to vet them first and see what kind of services they can provide for me. So I thought and he did actually even say, don't worry, your information is safe with us and blah, 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 blah. So I'm thinking, okay, I am kind of already a customer. I do have some rights. This is interesting. Maybe because he's a wealth manager, he needs to see how my trust is set up, maybe. So I went ahead and sent him all 18 articles, right? It was my living trust. Kimberly Ann Daniels, which is my birth certificate person, and Kimberly A. Teeter is the one that had bank accounts there. Both names were on the trust return, but Kimberly A. Teeter is the trustee. So they're relating to the all caps person who opened up a public bank account as the transfer on death person. So the minute I turned in a validation of identity, they killed off my all caps person so that they could have access and justification for why they could touch and move my money when an IRS agent came calling. That's the only thing I could really figure out as to why and how they were able to do what they did without breaking their own terms and conditions, right? Because I studied all those. So okay, all right. So I had to do a qualified written request and ask for a lot of information. I need to know who at the IRS talked, what actors at the IRS talked to the actors here, at this location, at this bank. And I need to know who at this bank reached out and talked to actors at the IRS, and what location. And I need a contact information. I need to know who contacted you and when. So the qualified written request was done, notarized, and I needed them to answer me back. Well, they had to lawyer up because a corporation, an exempt entity, can't deal with a living person. Okay? Especially if they're a customer and they were supposed to be a wealth managed customer that they had interest in. So anyway, long story short, the accounts got frozen. I didn't get any notice ahead of time. It was so I had to report the agent and the division that I sent all of my personal private documentation to, because when I called a few days later, they put me on the phone with the gentleman who I just sent all my trust documents to, all my private information to. And he says, "Hello, Miss Teeter." And I said, "Hello, Mr. So-and-so." And he said, "Did you have a question?" Because of course I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be, I'm
Combatant.
the investigator here. I'm investigating this suspicious activity and I have to make a report, right? So he said, "Did you have a question?" And I said, "I attempted to sign into both of my accounts and access has been denied." I know it's a recorded call, so I made a statement for the record. And I had a witness there listening. And he said, you're going to need to get a stapler. No, I'm just kidding. You're gonna need to talk to the IRS. And I'm like, say what? Now, mind you, I've been processing credits and I've been getting tax returns. I've been being a badass, right? So if I would have had a bill sent to me, I actually know how to pay the bill, right? You all saw how to do it. So if I would have gotten a bill, I would have known about it, right? Because I'm handling my affairs. Well, I needed more information because that was a little too vague. And I said, so are you going to tell me who I need to contact at the IRS? And he said, it was like he was getting coached from someone else. Like he didn't know how to answer my questions because he didn't want to make himself liable or the bank, right? So he said, you're going to need to contact the IRS about the matter. And I said, so let me ask you this. Am I able to come in and close all 7 of my accounts right now? He did the same thing. He did not know how to answer. And he got some advice from someone and he said, not at this time. Now,
really?
I don't know. Okay.
Oh, really?
Exactly. I didn't say a word after that, Marduk, because I knew in that moment they had just injured me, my property, and violated my Hobbs Act violation. I had caught him in that moment the minute he answered the question, no.
That's crazy, dude.
Okay. So now I got a quorum together of my business associates who I had a payroll account created for. Their future payroll was in there that has been blocked and frozen without notice to me, right? So 12 of us, not just me, 12 of us. So we did a quorum. We got everything down in writing and timeline event. This happened, this happened, this happened. This is what we said on the call back and forth. This is, everything done. And we did it in affidavit form. Affidavit of facts. And we immediately sent it to that person, but I also CC'd the Attorney General. I CC'd the consumer advocates for the business division. I CC'd the comptroller. I CC'd Ted Cruz, all of them in an email. The complaint email that you send in when you have a complaint about something going on that businesses or that you're being dealt with in a particular way. Okay. They all got sent notice that this affidavit went by certified mail to the fraud and division, security division. Listen, I had just given all my private information. Who's to say that my private information hadn't been hijacked?
Right. That's your non-public personal information. Yeah. There's plenty of codes about that.
Correct. And TIGTA even says it, that if your private taxpayer information is ever used without your consent, you need to report it to us at this email. So who else do you think got a TIGTA, a little TIGTA report from me? So anyway, I immediately put the report in to Ogden, which is the legal department of the IRS. And I did a 3949A, write that down. 3949A is suspicious activity or potential identity theft. And then I did an 83 form 8300, IRS form 8300, where you get to allocate exactly the cash amounts that came to you and who you gave them to, and what the situation or the issue was. And so, of course, I put Hobbs Act violations, and I also put entrapment, because them asking for my private information and then 3 days later freezing my accounts because some IRS officer said I owe a bill is literally theft and trespass and injury and tort. Like, it's just, but most people don't have the money to hire an attorney to go sue a corporation as big as a bank, right?
Right.
So what they did with me is business as usual for them.
And you guys, for those of you who don't know what the 3949A is, that's an information referral form. It's basically a snitch form, not you're tattletaling on whoever wronged you. And
that's right.
That's basically all these things are a taxable event as well. And the reason, and you're wanting to do that to kind of put them on the burner, not you, and you're letting the IRS know, like, these people wronged me. This has to do with money and taxes. So you're sending it there. And TIGTA is the Attorney General's office.
Inspector General. Yep.
Yeah. Inspector General. My apologies. Yeah.
And remember, where did my tax return come from? The tax return was from a withholding tax return, and it came out of the Bureau of Fiscal Services. Tax returns are not leviable. He sent a erroneous notice of levy to the bank, conspired against me, and I never got a notice. And you know what? When I finally got something from that person, the IRS agent, it was dated May 26th. Do you know that I hadn't even deposited my tax return until May 28th?
Wow.
So I'm just saying there's a little bit of stuff going on here, and we're learning how to stand on our square and make our proper reports to keep ourselves safe. Why wouldn't I go to a sheriff or a policeman officer to tattle? Because they're all racketeering together, bro.
They're getting securities from you left and right, having you sign stuff.
Left and right.
Yeah.
So of course,
and not reporting the taxes.
Yeah, and not reporting the taxes. Okay. So all right. So now, to answer the person's question about the business, now so why I was working with the Attorney General at this time is because I took on the role of creating an ag lien to try to protect all my property that had been frozen at the bank until this matter could be properly adjudicated, right? And so I was doing an ag lien, and I was back and forth with the Secretary of State a couple times. And the last time, because I had inserted my 3949A that you just saw, because I wanted the Attorney General to know what IRS agent and what bank injured me. So I put 50 pages of prima facie evidence, my affidavits and my 3949As and everything, because, by the way, I had not heard from anybody yet. And I'm out here on a limb as a whistleblower, and, my stuff is still frozen, and I got no relief, and I got no settlement yet. So I did the lien and I made Jefferson bank account, my bank account, the property that was liened, and then Dallas, the Federal Reserve of Dallas as the second debtor. Now, I gave them a deadline of July 31st. If the accounts aren't unfrozen by July 31st, I would put my claim in with the with whoever I needed to put my claim in with if they don't unfreeze the accounts. Okay. So that date came and went. So I went on EFTPS and I took all that money that they seized, all those units and all that credit, and I made a federal tax deposit through that same bank account that they froze, but on the private credit side. Because remember, closed banks are for setting off a debt you purportedly owe. If the IRS agent was saying that I owe more than I had in my bank accounts at the time, why not just double pay it? That's what I did. I took that because I had the lady notarize my EFTPS to prove that my social was connected to that bank account number. And I went and swiped all of those credits off the backside and made a federal tax deposit of ES payment. It's an ES payment. It's no different for the full amount that they plundered. Okay.
Kim Marie, do you know what's hilarious that I just realized too?
What?
They leave the backside of the coupon intentionally blank. If you print this out double-sided, both of the pages of the coupon are left intentionally blank, meaning they want you to endorse the back. You know what I'm saying? That's hilarious. Because if you print this double-sided, guys, this is the page after.
Yep.
And it's left intentionally blank. And then this left intentionally blank. Okay. There's on the regular 1040, when you print it out double-sided, they don't, I don't remember seeing this, but this is hilarious. I've never noticed. Yeah, that's just more confirmation for me. I'm sorry. I needed to share that real quick.
I'm so glad that you shared that with everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've been through the ringer, girl.
Oh, you guys. Oh, I'm talking warrior. Iron sharpens iron, and we are rocking and rolling. Okay. So really, there's the endorsement you saw. Really, there's nothing really else to go over except for how to, then, basically you look at the instructions on the back of the or look at the state where you live, and you just follow the instructions on where to put your envelope in the mailbox.
I'm going to ask you a couple things because I've been watching the comments. So, first and foremost,
recording is on.
Thank you for stopping the recording while she asked too, guys.
Marta, did she finish the story?
Oh, she started going off about. What
okay. So Attorney General. So where I'm at right now in the process, just to kind of wrap that up real quick, just to finish that, is that the last time my ag lien came back, they needed to get some advice from the Attorney General side on why I was not able to be acknowledged or issued an ag lien. And basically what he told me in no uncertain terms, which was so awesome because he showed me exactly what I needed to do in black and white ink, that the debtor is the one that's owed that money that someone else took. Well, who created that credit in the first place, and who's the Benny on the tax return in the first place? The mortmain. The private Benny. Remember, the Benny is always private. The minors never go out in public. No one ever knows the name of your offspring, or shouldn't, because they're underage. They don't have the competence. They're not an adult, so they can't be making contracts in the marketplace. Do you know what I mean? So they
have a guardian.
That's right. They all have a guardian. So essentially, who's owed the funds back is the Benny, or the estate is another way of saying Benny, estate, mortmain, private account, right? So that's who I needed to put on there, not Jefferson Bank account number belonging to Kimberly Teeter, but Kimberly Daniels, my birth certificate CAF person, is who's owed all that money back. That's the tax return that was erroneously levied and taken from me. How do I know if they didn't launder that money? So I had to report it to do my duty, right? I don't want to be involved in any kind of cartel crap. I had to report it to protect myself and my minor and my, and my credits. It's not just about the money, you guys. I think if nothing else, I learned a really big lesson that makes sure that your tax return, when it's a trust filing, goes into a tax bank account, number one. And number two, you can't necessarily trust the banks all the time because they're all having a liquidity crisis right now. So just to complete that now, I know exactly what I need to do. I was going to put that package in the mail with the proper okay, so there's the birth certificate person is the debtor, and the second one is that business I told you about that I invested in. That's the other debtor, because all of those future payroll people that I was going to be bringing into my bookkeeping service their payments have been stalled because of this activity that's happened with my tax return, right? So my second debtor is my LLC. And so I gathered all my receipts, all my statements, everything I would need, including blank 1099 OID and a 1096 for 2024, because this thing happened in 2024. Okay. The tax return was for tax year 2023, but the theft happened in 2024. So I'm sending him in and I'm giving him permission as a special power of attorney to collect to IRS Treasury checks on my behalf, because what they did was sent a cashier's check of all the money that I had in my accounts, and they said they sent it back to the Treasury. Well, if they did, then their hands are clean. If they didn't, then they're getting a free audit. And at the end of the day, I got a lien.
Courtesy
so
of
I'm
Kim
good.
Murray.
Right? I'm just saying, I'm willing to look at myself and see if I made a mistake and where my error was. I'm willing to forgive myself. I'm willing to forgive their trespass. I understand that's the way they've been doing business forever. And maybe they didn't do anything wrong. Maybe they were held at gunpoint. Maybe they needed to pay the cartel in order to stay in business and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. We just don't know. Until the facts come forward, we can't assume or presume, okay? So all I know is I didn't get notice before I got locked out of my accounts, and that's a violation of my rights, period. So instead of working with my paperwork today, I chose to be on this call today because I'm more excited about teaching everybody how to do ESs. So you all can be on the same train as I am, which is, this is the redemption train, you guys. This is what I'm talking about. So to answer your question of why I'm dealing with the Attorney General is because he and the Comptroller and the Secretary of State all work together as the mini Treasury at the state level. I got my tax return from Philadelphia, which is the new federal
Recording has
Article
stopped.
3 court, right? Article 3 court is Philadelphia at Fiscal Services. Been absorbed. Fiscal Services pays the claims that come in. Okay. Now,
Recording is on.
So Philadelphia issued me the return, but the IRS agent here in my locale sequestered those funds with some kind of erroneous bill that I didn't know I had. And so I went ahead and at this point, I've paid it several times on an OID and paid to the United States Treasury for the benefit of Kimberly A. Teeter. In the property description, it's the account number at the bank that it was at, and it's for a 1040B is attached. I put in there as the description because why? 1040B is a payment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like real savvy at all this stuff. I know how to pay off debt so well. What I don't know how to do is keep my money safe.
Buy gold, girl. Buy gold.
I know. Well, but I know. So I should have taken my tax return and gone to Goldco with it.
Well, you gotta cash it. I guess you're right. Yeah.
See what I mean? So anyway, so that to answer that gentleman's question, that's what I'm getting ready to do is perfect my ag lien. All that is enforcement. If in fact when I send in my tax return, some of you may or may not know this, but if you're a business, not a private trust, but if you're a business that is registered in the state that you work in, that you live in, you actually can send your bank statements and your receipts in, and the attorney general will issue those to the comptroller, and the comptroller will actually pay your fill out your forms and do your bookkeeping for you and get you your return. Yes. I didn't know if you guys knew that. We
You
actually
have to like appoint them fiduciary or something, or no? You have
They
to do
already
56
are.
or something.
The comptroller already is. If the minute you, let's just say, deliver your business records, you're putting them forward for investigation, aren't you?
Beautiful.
I got nothing to hide here. Go ahead and fish through this. See what I've already sent in by way of ES payments or whatever. Just see what I've done. And then if you feel, if you can see clearly based on what I would see, I'm not an accountant. I'm not an IRS professional. I'm not any of that. He's actually responsible for the businesses in the state. The comptroller works with the attorney general. Remember, that's the head of the treasury. The attorney general holds the purse. Think of it like the bailey in the courtroom. The attorney general holds the equity and securities and the labor and the contracts and the claims and the whatever in the safety deposit box at the treasury located in your country, in your state. Okay.
Sure.
That's the nanny. Okay. So the businesses, they have a right, title, and interest to control and run and service the businesses, especially new budding businesses like mine, if you are working in any way with the public. Because
So
they have to insure your business. They have to bond your business in case someone says, "Hey, I went to this taco stand and my, and I literally got so sick I was out of work for 30 days."
It's insurance,
Does that tie into our UCC contract trust sole proprietor? Is that a business in a sense?
It is if you choose to use that as your your
monopoly piece.
Yeah.
Your little monopoly piece to go around the board.
Yeah, you get to if you want people to let's say you want to open up a business account at PayPal, you'd have to have an EIN that's not your social, because it has to be a business EIN. So some people can just get along and go along and just be Social Security and sole prop all day long, paying each other back and forth. So when you graduate into the business realm, that's when you have to have two or more gather for God to enter in. That's when you have like a trust, basically. So your sole prop and your social are in a contract. Your trust, your living trust, and your social are in a contract. Your estate and your offspring, you're in a contract until they're out of college or out of school.
Okay, see, I already got my trust, so I'm going to operate in my trust from now on after I do this ES.
If you have a trust bank account.
I'm opening that tomorrow.
Okay, so, and then they'll call it a business bank account, even though it's a trust. So if it's a living trust and it's revocable, it's considered a business transacting pass-through entity.
Yeah, it's a revocable living trust.
Correct. So it can't be sued and it can't be garnished, but it does have a duty to take care of and protect those that it's generating currency on behalf of. There's holding trusts that just hold your equity. That's like an estate or a holding bank account where you don't have a checkbook. There's no business expenses coming out of it. That's a different kind of trust. That's going to hold your equity, hold your assets, hold your investments. You only distribute that out maybe once a quarter. Maybe it's a trust certificate. Maybe you have to cash one in because times are hard. It's not a business like a debit credit entity.
So that's just simple record accounting, bookkeeping, and as a trustee.
Yeah. So we can get into all that. We can get into all that. If you're going to fund your trust, you guys just learned how to fund your trust doing a 1041 ES and a 1041B.
I do want to ask in regards to that real quick. People are still popping off with questions, and I understand. So you don't need to have like a Form 56 or a 2848 over your social person or anything like that in order to pay yourself a salary with the 1040, correct? Just the 1040 route.
1040, if you're filing a 1040 or a 1040X, which is amended,
right,
you are already the entitlement holder in due course of all credits due back to you. People that have tried to do people that have tried to make themselves a designee or a power of attorney and all that stuff, you're already power of attorney over your IRS ID Me account, right? So the owner's home and the owner has already been verified. The only time the IRS needs to question anybody is when you give someone else authority for a time, a season, or a year, or maybe a decade. You feel me? So while we're operating with just our social, we're there by default. They're already our back office secretary fiduciary. That's job it is to record any claims that come against the Mort main account where you're the entitled holder of it's like a settlement claim. It's like, oh man, I didn't know I could pay myself all these years. Okay. So if you're going to amend and you're going to go back and refile and you're just going to put 250,000, go to the I'm glad someone pulled this up. Go to the line that says estimated payments, please.
Yep. Oh wait, this is the 1040 ES. You want to pull up the regular 1040?
Yes, regular 1040. Oh no, X 1040X. You can usually print one of those out. Yep, it's amended. Because a lot of people are going to amend because they're going to go back and recollect, right?
That's what I got to do. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I saw it earlier. Hold on. It says federal estimated line 13.
Okay, perfect. Line 13. Okay. Now, there it is. Okay, so let's say, so look, including the amount applied from prior year's return. So people in the witness protection program have had to do their, it's called a withholding tax return. It's their FIDE commissary account. They're asking the secretaries in the back office to hold their credits until such time they're available to come and recoup or collect. Because they're offshore, they're gone, they're deployed, they're out here, they're out there, whatever, and someone's at home taking care of the taxes for the family, right? When you do an estimated tax payment amended, you will have had to have deposited your ES payments and your voucher in at least 3 weeks before you file your tax return, unless you're filing an amended for 2023, then you can go ahead and just add your X with your ESs and your voucher so that they can close out and give you a return for 2023.
So if people already received a return or paid because they owed, right, you're going to have to offset that here. Like, right? Is that correct? Am I reading this correctly? Estimated tax payments, including amount applied from prior year's return. So if you paid them taxes in 2023, like they took taxes out, wouldn't you add that to the 250 here? Or am I mistaken? Yeah.
Don't leave any credits on the table if you can manage it at all. So so in order for them to close out 2023, especially when we send an amended, they have to do a look back at 2022 to make sure that that year was settled and you are fully paid up and everything is up to date. They're just asking, because some people ask for part of their return to be moved to the next year.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, applied to the future, like the
correct.
So she's saying the refund that you guys would get.
Yeah.
a lot of people do ask to apply it to their tax liability for the next tax season, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're gonna basically put what you had on that line in the beginning when you
Right
first
here, too.
filed, which was 0.
Original amount, first
Yep.
column, net change, which is the difference between
Yep.
then and now, and the correct amount. So right here, let's say original amount I paid, was there like 22,000 in taxes?
Yep.
22,000. We are now adding, wait, no, tax you paid. Yeah, we're going to be sending them 250,000,
Yes.
right?
Where's
So-
that 2,000 coming from?
My taxes that I paid already out of 20. This is an amended return. Okay.
Yeah. So he
This is
gets back
correcting-
the 22. He gets that back.
Plus, so listen, guys, I filed taxes in 2023. I already got my refund check. Okay. They took out $22,000 from my tax return. I actually need to balance this 22,000 with the refund check I got. So say that I got a $3,000 refund check. That was the excess from what I already paid them in 2023. So I paid 22,000. They gave me 3,000 back, right? So that would have been what I paid in was actually 19,000 true value. Does that make sense so far? I hope. So
Okay.
Now that's about to ask her. You remember she asked us to look on the wages and transcript yesterday and look at the negative value under the 1099, and she said
Yes.
we get that 10 times back. This sound like this the same thing she was talking about.
You can do the 10 times back if you make a ledger on a B.
So let's keep
This
this
is
really
not a
simple,
B.
brother, for
Yeah.
everybody right now, because there's people hurting, and I know we have all this extra stuff we can do, but this is just to get your salary that you are owed. That's it. We're not talking about Bs. We're not talking about OID. None of that. This is just to get your salary back. For everybody, again, this is a 1040X. This is to amend a return you already filed. Okay. So the first row, original amount of tax payments that I made. 2023's gone. I already paid my taxes for the tax year, and I already got my refund, which is the offset of how much more I paid them than I needed to. It was the overpayment that they gave me my refund check. People get excited about their tax return, like, hell yeah, I'm getting money. They already took that money from you. You were just over the bracket that you needed to pay.
Right.
So what we're gonna do is, if you got a refund check, look at your tax liability, what you paid out of your payroll, whatever, however you want to look at it. That's the number that goes there, the tax liability for 2023. Because if you already got a refund check, it's balanced. They balance the books. You don't need to add, subtract, nothing. Just look at what your tax liability for 2023 was. That's what goes there. This is the original amount you paid. Next is the net change. Okay. Do I add both actually? Oh yeah, because I'm going to add the 250 there too. Net change amount decrease or increase, reported as or previously adjusted. Yeah, how would that work, Kimmery? Do I total those here, or do I put the net change with the 250 here? Because we're paying them a payment for 2023, so I would assume
it's not going to hurt to overclaim, because they will adjust and give you what settled their books.
Okay, so that'd be 269,000, because I'm gonna send them a payment for my 2023 tax liability for 250K. That's what we're doing. Okay, the net change from what I paid last year to this number is gonna be 250,000.
Yep.
Is that too many? There you go. Okay, correct amount. Wait, what? Correct amount. Amount increase or decrease reported. Original amount reported or as previously adjusted. Okay, so that's going to be.
So the correct amount's going to be what you already paid in taxes that you didn't get back, plus your 250,000.
Yes, so 269,000.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Right here, what we did pay, original reported amount in your tax liability. The net change is what we're sending them a payment for 250. That's the net change, $250,000. Correct amount, I paid them $19,000 in taxes already, and then I just paid them $250,000, so it's $269,000. Done.
And who did you actually pay? Now that you know that everything comes back dollar for dollar, you paid yourself in the future.
Yeah. And it's coming back to me in 2 weeks, hopefully. So we'll see.
Well, I have to tell you, because let's see. If you drop it in the mail, it's hopeful. If you attach an 8888 to it and you drop it in the mail, because everything's changing so fast. But the problem that we found in the last 2.5 years is that amendeds take 5 to 8 weeks.
Even if you do it online?
Yeah, because I don't know why, you guys, I think there's nobody home. I think the staff is I think they're all complicit, honestly.
Oh, I was talking to the group or like on TikTok about this earlier. Because I've been looking for jobs, so I haven't been able to get one. And I've worked all my life since I was like 14, nonstop, lost my job last year. But I was looking in Indeed, and they were hiring in my area 350 IRS agents. Like they had an ad up for it, and it wasn't just regular agents. It said CID agents, like the Criminal Investigation Division agents.
I'm telling you, I think that we're going to have so many claims going in that they're going to leave it to the CID to make sure and vet that it's not money laundering. If it's a bona fide claim from a real sovereign, then it'll get escalated. But I think there's been so much laundering from these bad guys. It makes sense. It would have to be CID.
Yeah, that's what it said. Okay, right here, we're going to have to. Do I have to fill out everything again or just what's changing? Well, this would all change. Adjusted gross income, itemized deductions, or standard deductions.
What I would do is I would go on Free Tax USA, get an account, it's free, and I would add your estimated tax payments in there so that the algorithm helps you. Oh, you're already with it? Oh,
I just pulled it up right now. I'll sign up real quick though. Yeah.
Okay, do it.
I don't mind. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so awesome. So this is for anybody. So it's free for federal, and it's $14 if you live in one of those states where they have a state tax return that you need to file. And the difference between the state and federal filing is
wait, I don't want to show my screen with the password.
Yeah.
I'm going to check.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So you have to do a local ES form in California. Ours is called a 541. And so I'm now not in California, but I still have a lot of stuff that I'm tying up from California. So I had to file a few fiduciary or local tax returns. And all of my amendeds are all stuck right now. My whole account and everything is all just stuck now, mostly because I filed, I was changing and filing and whatever so much. And all of it's been delayed on all of us. So all of the people in my study group. So where we're at right now is there. What was I trying to say? I lost my train of thought, actually.
Backed up, 1040 amended.
State. So if you go to amend and you just do and you just do a 1040 federal and you don't include the state, I'm not so sure it won't get hung up, because in the states where you're required, like we did a couple people from Louisville, it's like Kentucky area. Was it? Yeah. Anyway, she ended up getting tax returns for her brother and her sister and her son because she did the ESs, but she did state and federal. Because she's the only one competent in her family to file for them, she took this on, the ESs, because I told her she could look on the transcripts and see the credits issued. So she was so excited to try it out because of the credits showing up on the transcript. that she did it and she actually affected it, but she's one of those that had to file state ESs and federal ESs. So I'm just putting that out there, full disclosure, that part of our job and getting to where I've come to is that there was a lot of people who were willing to experiment with us in the last couple of years. And so I'm just letting you all know.
I just
Federal
want to
and
make a clarification, Kim Marie, from
Yeah.
the N40X on line 13, estimated tax payments. Are we getting that from taxable income from the transcript record of account?
You're asking if the credit that's showing with a negative sign in front of it is considered income?
No. The what Murdoch was saying, Maduk was saying, he got back 19. What he paid in taxes was 19,000. Is that the taxable income that he was putting on 13 estimated tax?
No, tax returns are always exempt. They are never they are it's a gift for a gift.
Wait, I actually did direct file. I'm wondering if I can do this through the IRS online. Because I did I did direct file this year with the IRS this last year. Like on the irs.gov.
Yeah.
Let's see if they offer it. IRS amended return.
You said it's a gift for a gift. What do you mean by that? Or where is it coming from?
Well, class five is gift and estate. So all 1099s, all vouchers, all ESs, every response we make where they say you owe this and you pay it, those are all considered gifts. Because taxes are voluntary.
They sure are.
But since the 1966 Tax Lien Act, so is their ability to lien us and break all the rules and violate us and turn us over and rape us all day long. So we're just coming back now with the benefit of discovery or the doctrine of discovery and realizing, so we didn't know this before, but we know it now. So now we're going to go forward with the knowledge that we have now.
So you're saying taxable income is the gift?
No, sorry. So tax returns are not considered income. They're considered taxes paid and returned as an overpayment. So technically, a tax return is considered a federal tax deposit paid back to you. It's like a circulating credit, if you want to think about it that way.
Right. I know that it's owed to us, but I'm just trying to find out where is we getting the number from. Like if you,
it's an estimated tax payment or it's considered an overpayment. So every time we transact in commerce for $1 or more, it's considered a trust transaction. Why? We're trusting that we're going to get back everything we circulate in commerce. If we report it and we record it, we're trusting that we're going to get it back. What they didn't tell us was only some of what we report we get back. They didn't tell us every transaction, dollar for dollar, is actually reportable and returnable.
Right, but I would still have to know where that's coming from. Where did the 19,000 come from that Maduk said? Did he get that from his tax return?
Yeah. So yes. Okay. They take out a percentage of your taxes from your paycheck, correct? If you add all those up, you'll get a number. Okay. When you file your taxes,
taxable income, right?
No. Yes, your taxable income, but when you get a check from the Treasury during your refund season, when you file your taxes, they're paying you back what you overpaid them. What they took out of your check as an overpayment is the check that you get at the end of the year. So I actually paid in $22,000 in taxes last year, but they sent me a $3,000 check when I filed my taxes because I overpaid. My tax liability was $19,000. So they balanced their books by sending me a $3,000 check. Does that
Where
make
you
sense?
see tax? Where you see tax liability at? I don't see that.
Right. So
I'm not looking. I'm just using the word. I'm not even. I'm
Oh,
going off
okay,
my
okay,
head.
okay.
Yeah, and I'm using
Yeah,
round
I'm
numbers.
looking.
No,
I'm looking at my transcript right
can I
now.
just answer that question? Line 24 tells you what your tax liability is. If that line is 0, then you have no tax liability, and that's why you're able to be tax exempt if you get a job. The
You
only
said
reason
it's not broken.
the only reason I know that is because I filled out my daughter's tax papers, and she did not have a tax liability, so she was able to be tax exempt both federal and state.
right. I'm looking on my transcript right now. There is no line 24 or anything. It's just
No, you have to look at not your transcript. It has to be on your. Did you file 1040 last year?
yeah. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. I'm looking at the transcript from what I filed from last year.
Okay, you have
And
to.
it has adjusted gross income. It has taxable income, and it has
Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it online?
Hold on. So just 1 second. This is a really great lesson for everybody on their transcript, how to actually read the transcript. This is really great. Sorry to interrupt. You're looking for the credits that you can justify to file to get returned to you. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So at the very top of the transcript, do you see the word taxpayer account?
I'm gonna pull up mine right now too. Hold on.
I see taxpayer identification number. I see
to the left. To the left.
To the left.
Everything you own in the box. Sorry. Sorry.
Accrued interest and accrued penalty.
This is really great. You know what? The kind lady that was talking earlier, I'm so sorry to cut you off, but this was such a great opportunity for learning. And then I definitely want to hear what you were guiding him to look for. But he had brought this question up earlier and we didn't get to it. So I felt compelled to make sure that he could find his credits that he's looking for.
I'm gonna pull up my transcripts right now. So there's account transcript, return transcript, record of account transcript, or wage and income transcript. I'm guessing I want to do the whole account transcript, correct?
If you want to see all the withholding that you're owed back, do the wage and income transcript real quick and show that.
Okay.
Let's spotlight that real quick. Go ahead and share your screen. The account, the tax account is going to show where you've accumulated credits or where you owe or you have a deficit. That's going to show up in a positive number, not a negative. A negative is a credit you're owed. And so the withholding and wage and withholding statement is going to show how many withholding units they took out. So when I was gifting people on a 1099s, 1099 B or a G or a NEC, when I was gifting my study buddies, I was gifting them what's in the withholding box on the NEC. And it was showing up on their transcript that they could put that on now, collate all those 1099s together, all that withholding, add it all up, add your ES payments, and put all of that on the OID.
So I don't want to show this on the screen right now. People are recording. So on line 3, so it says submission type original document, wages, tips, and other compensation. And right below it, it tells you federal income tax withheld. Okay.
Yep.
That's how much tax they withheld from your check.
Correct.
Okay. Right
the negative
there.
sign. The negative is the withholding actually means a credit due back to you. It's like, think of it like a safety deposit box.
You
and
said
they
federal income tax withheld?
Correct. Federal income tax withheld is the income tax they withheld from your paycheck. That's not including Social Security. That's not including Medicare, just income tax. Okay.
But all those negatives you're actually due back if you add all that into your ES payment on your X.
Even Social Security and Medicare?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, I want to do it. I'm down. Well, the worst thing that could happen is they reject it. It's not like
let me tell you what happened to mine. I had went 10 years as an independent contractor and had not paid into my Social Security because I had not filed taxes for so long. And guess what? When I caught up all my last 3 years, I did it on a W-2, having my trust pay me on a W-2, and my Social Security went up by like 10 times the amount that I would be due if I retired, and my retirement amount went up because I paid into my Social Security.
Oh, I see the negatives at the, okay, so the negatives at the bottom too, it even shows you like refund that you got, refund amount due, total payments. If you scroll all the way down.
Yep.
All the way down to the last page. Well, it might be different for you because, you know, some people have, I don't know, but it says total payments and then total payments per computer, and then it says refund amount. So the total payments you made, the money you got refunded via check is below that. I'm guessing you do have to balance the two because I don't think they're showing that deduction in the total payments. That's just how much they actually withheld or took from my check. You know what I mean? Yeah, because it says federal tax withheld and it's the same as total payments. And then refund amount, it's that negative number at the bottom that they did pay me. If that makes sense.
And to make it easy for every single buddy, though, if you are just filing a withholding tax return, that's actually a thing. It's a withholding. An ES is considered a withholding tax return. So you don't have to file all that other stuff. You're just filing ES payments that you made. You know how we've been able to gift the Treasury if we want? Military got taught this a while ago. You can go in and make an EFTPS payment of $250,000 at the beginning of the year, so that $250,000 gift withholding amount, voluntary withholding, it's a BW4, I think, voluntary withholding, that will actually earn really amazing because it's a gift to the Treasury while you're not able to utilize it. It's growing, and you get to literally count that receipt as funds that you loaned the government for a year. So it's just crazy how we've been taught to think about this. Everything's just, think about it the opposite way that we were taught, and then you'll be a little bit clearer about how things really are supposed to be.
So, like you were mentioning in California, there's another ES that you would have to do besides
a state ES form. Yeah.
So I would have to do that.
You'd get two tax returns, though. You'd get one from the state and you'd get one from the federal.
Okay. So I would have to do two amendeds, one for California and one for the federal.
If you're amending, and if you send payment in, you can do a federal only. You can do a federal only on the amended.
Okay.
If you pay on an ES for California, see, because I had bills and stuff that I was trying to tie up. So if I paid a bill using script, the way that we just learned how to do, I felt like my job was to get a tax return back from California because I paid them, and I'm abandoning the credits if I don't file a return to collect them. Does that make sense?
Of course, yeah.
We don't need to complicate this. If we want to just experiment with just doing 2023 federal only 1040X, and then just just have that one effort put into one process. And, I'm teaching you guys how to do ESs rather than teaching you how to go back and amend and grab all your credits, why not just do an ESX? Then there's one reason why you amended. Then you don't have to change any other numbers except that one line item that you just did. And you have to tell them why you're amending. And you're just simply going to put added the ESs, deposited on this day with certified mail receipt number, ESs in this amount, paid by this date. That's why I'm amending. I'm collecting.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then we don't have to nickel and dime everything.
No, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you. Yeah. I want to make it simple for everybody who's, there's a lot of people frantically trying to figure out what their next move is. So
scroll down, Marduk, scroll down on your transcript real quick if you didn't sign out.
I did, but you want me to open it back up?
Scroll down, and I want you to show them the line item that says estimated tax payments.
I got mine open.
You'll see 0 because you never paid them, and you didn't know you could.
Let me sign in real quick again.
I got mine open if you want me to pull it up.
Yeah, please pull it up for us. Yep. Take us, just show everybody so they can see it's actually a line item on the transcript. Payment.
Which transcript do you want again? The wages and income, or which one?
I think estimated payments is a line item on almost all of them, actually.
Okay, let's see.
I see a QSIP number on this one.
Find it.
Yeah, do you see it? Did
y'all see mine?
Yes, sir. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the line he was talking about right there.
Oh, can you see my screen right now?
Josh's. We're seeing Josh's.
Oh God, that scared me. My social was up and everything.
No, okay. I got mine pulled up on the bottom here. It shows, like you were saying, the total payment, the total refund. And if you scroll up just a tad, it'll tell you right here the difference is the total tax liability right here, the $38.83.
Right.
That's the difference between what you paid and what you refunded. But what were you trying to show on the bottom?
Tax payments.
See, look. So real quick, while he's there, don't scroll away. See how it says Form 8888. You're going to want to attach that to your amended, and you're going to tell them how you want your funds to come to you. Do you want it in? Do you want to put it in a couple different accounts and then have them send you the check? For the balance. But there's the 88 right there. That's a very key point right there. That's a form, actually. And then estimated tax. Where is... Oh, you have to go to the category that says taxes. And then it'll show estimated that you paid, if any. There it is. Estimated, right there. Line 3.
Estimated tax payments.
There's your coupons, and that's where your credits are going to show up. As soon as they ledger it, it's in the books.
Wow. So if we do like a
zero,
because you didn't make any estimated tax payments, did you?
No, I did not. Okay, I got you now.
Yes,
you're learning how to do it right now, right?
Yeah.
So, employee, what did you call it, Marduk? ESs?
Employee statements.
Employee statements. If they would just change the word tax to credit, and if they would change estimated to employees document of title or statement of account, which is what it actually is. This is how much I need to live on. Pull this from my Mortmain account. I need to live on this much a year. Thank you very much for your service. And here's a little $10,000 tithing tip for you. You can even tip them, you guys. I mean, they're a business. So just saying.
And you said we add 250 to that? Where did the 250 come from?
I didn't say nothing.
No, that's how much she estimated. The 250K is the wages, bro, from the ES that she would send in herself and is not recommending anybody else do unless they, it's all up to you. It's all up to you what you think, you deserve to get paid for the year. That's what the ES is. It's the payment voucher
It's the drawdown. Yep. It's a
Right.
it's a draw. They have to go sell the bond to get the proceeds from the sale in order to have that liquidity ready when you put your claim in. Everything's insurance, bonds, and contracts. Life insurance, accident insurance, salvage insurance, everything comes back to liability.
So just to clarify what he was talking about on line 13 on the 1040X, it would be the difference between the total payment and the refund, which would be this number here.
Tax liability is what that number, bro, because they would have sent you your refund already. So tax liability is going to be the original tax.
The federal income tax withheld.
So then
Federal-
this one, the total payments?
Right up under that. Go to the next line. You see where it say federal income tax withheld? Go up a little bit. Just a little, right there at the top. Federal income tax withheld. That's what you're talking about, my dude?
I'm filling out my amended right now. I'm sorry. Let me see. So federal income tax withheld is how much they withheld from your check. Okay. Does everybody know how income tax works? Income tax is done in brackets. Okay. It's not just a flat out percentage of your money. It's done in brackets. If you make 20,000 to 50,000, you're going to pay $1,000. If you make 51,000 to 80,000, you're going to pay $2,000. Okay. You're in brackets. They withhold a percentage of your paycheck. Now, if you paid your brackets tax liability and they withheld more throughout the year than you owed, that's what your refund check is. It's money that when they took out too much money to cover your tax liability at the end of the year, they're giving it back to you. So the tax liability is the number that you end up with after they send you your refund, if that makes sense, because they withheld 20,000, but your tax liability was only 17,000, and you got a $3,000.
When you subtract it, it adds up to exactly what it would be if you take away what you was refunded from the withheld.
Exactly.
The liability would be the leftover.
Exactly.
So are you saying? So what do we do with that?
That is, look at the 1040 ES form, brother. Look at the form. When you look at the 1040 ES and it's asking you, the 1040X, the amended return, it's asking you a couple things. I'm doing it online. Hold up. Let me pull up the form.
I'm looking at it right now.
So there's the 3 columns, right?
Yeah.
1040X. Now, what's the first column say?
Original amount reported or as previously adjusted.
Okay. Original amount reported or as previously adjusted. See instructions. Okay, let's see the instructions. That's the best thing we can do in this instance.
Estimated tax payment.
IRS 1040X instructions.
So it's 3883.
Why won't it come up? Instructions for the 1040X. So it's going to tell you line by line what it wants. Where are we at? What line number is that?
13.
13. So right here, 13, estimated tax payments. In column A, enter the estimated tax payments you claimed on your original return. If you filed a 1040C, no, we didn't do that. Oh, no. Oh. So it would be 0. We're on line 13 there. Line 12. No, line 12 is what we're talking about, brother, right? Federal income tax withheld is what we're... Hold up, I'm confused myself. Estimated tax payments, including... Yeah, okay. But we're going to have to fill out the others too, I'm assuming, no? Anyways, Original amount would be 0 because you didn't. Your transcript says 0. That dude's transcript said 0 for estimated tax payments. We've never made an estimated tax payment, so 0. Net change 200. Let's say $10,000 for being humble over here, or 250,000, whatever y'all decide to do with your lives. Net change, correct amount on the next part is going to be 250,000. I hella overcomplicated that. I was thinking about federal withheld, but the estimated tax payments, the original amount reported on your tax transcript is 0. That was reported on your tax return was 0.
Okay.
The net change is the new one we're adding, which would be 250, and then the correct amount would be 250. But I'm gonna read through the instructions of the amended myself and see if nothing else changed. I don't know if, like, since nothing else is changing, really, do we need to change that, or you know what I mean, or can we just do the part that we are changing, which is line 13? I don't know.
I think there's one other place where you have to tell them exactly what you're adding or subtracting from your amended. They have to know why, what the purpose or the basis for the change was. I think it's, if you look at the X, it should be in one of the line items.
I'm
It's
looking
line
at it,
2.
yeah.
It
What's
says
up,
on
brother?
part 2, explain why you're putting in the difference on line 13.
So all you do is you're just going to put estimated tax payments made on this day using this certified mail receipt number, or this tracking number if you overnighted it, whatever, and you mail them to this address. It's just like all we're doing is, we're just being transparent and telling the truth. I deposited ES payments. They may write you a letter and ask to see copies of your whatever. So be it. You're happy to send them the copies. Make sure you make copies.
So estimated tax payments made on this day with register mail number this day. And then would we wait till they are received to do this, you think?
You want to give it a good 10 business days for them to get the accounting, get the thing done to your records. I would wait. I would look on you. I would check your transcript because maybe they're waiting. This is funding the Republic, you guys. So, remember, you're going to have to cut where it says tear here. We have to cut them. We have to do everything that a robot can't do or a disabled person can't do. You got to get the scissors out. You got to cut everything. You got to turn it over. You got to sign it. You got to put everything together with a paper clip and make sure that, double check, make sure you've got all your accounting right. Because as soon as, you don't want to cause any delays, basically. And then go ahead and attach an 8888 to it. It's not going to hurt for you to give them your direct deposit bank account number that you want, your return split up in. It's just business as usual for them. We just got to realize that it's manna from heaven for us.
No, we pretty much just pulling down the estimated credit payments with the V 1040.
Correct. Correct. But the tax return is actually the claim form that, how do I want to say this? The return is the claim form that causes their performance. See, they have to perform now. You did all the accounting, you did all the gifting, you did all the recording, and you did all the mailing. You feel me?
Yeah.
Now you just simply tell the truth about what you just did using their OMB form, their line item, sign under penalty of perjury that, yes, you did that. Yes, I did draw down credits. And yes, I did deposit them here at this date, whatever. And now when they get the return, they have to perform.
Got you. Now I got a twister for you.
Yeah.
If I use a 1040V and I put that 8888 in with it, the ES, can I file that send that to a trust account, or I might as well do a 1041 ES and 1041 V.
The payment needs to match your name. So, and it
Well-
has to be connected to the social, I would imagine.
Well, hold on. Actually, we haven't gotten to the 1041 yet, but he's right. A Benny, which is where the source of the credit's coming from in all trust matters, there you can operate as if the trust was funded by the Mort main account by the 1040 ESs and the 1040 V. The credits can be conveyed or transferred to fund your trust account to pay the trustee to do your operations for you. Yes. When you go through the 1041, that's actually one of the questions they ask you. Do you want to report any payments that the beneficiary made to the trust? Right? Do you want to report any of the 1041 ESs made to be made by the beneficiary, which would put him in a position to be credited back or gifted back on the K1 on the tax return? He would just simply have an interest in a portion of it. So like for me, I'm operating as a partnership now. My trust, everything I do is like me, myself, and I. So it's my birth certificate person and my adult person.
He's not coming back till tomorrow.
We split everything 50-50, and just to make it easy on me. So
Can you guys mute, please? If you're not speaking. Thank you so much.
what I'm excited about is if we can attract someone who is coming from the accounting, bookkeeping, CPA / auditing side of all of this. We all know how to pay ourselves, but those people are still in other jobs because their paycheck is there only because they haven't realized that they can give themselves a salary and do whatever work they want to do in the world. Make sense? But if we could attract one of those to come in here, listen, I don't know how much more validation we need than the instructions that we just read. You just saw it on the transcript. That guy paid himself nothing. And he just found out that he can.
So I might just do this the paper route because the online route's kind of weird. The estimated. It says filing payments and estimated payments, and then it's saying, did you owe any money on 2022? No. Did you pay state and local taxes for 2021, 22? Did you make any other state or local income tax payments? Is that, for example, state quarterly payments or state withholdings? Okay.
Yeah, because the federal, think about the federal as the father, and the state that you have to file with is the mother, and the federal enforces the mother at the state level to make sure you get paid back every tax return you make a claim for. So if you do an X at the state level, the father's overseeing the Mort main, the private escrow. The private holding trust is offshore, right, in Puerto Rico. So if you send a tax return into the state and you don't get a tax return, who's the enforcement? The AG, number one. But at the federal level, which is in Congress, it would be your state representative that you call or write or put a complaint in online, and you say, listen, I've been waiting for my tax return from California for longer than 10 weeks. And I've been hearing results when people get a hold of their state representative that's in Congress, they go and green light a tax return if it's been delayed. So I'm just saying that it's mother-father kind of like step-parent relationship going on between the federal and the state. Until this whole shit show is over with, we kind of are having to just kind of feel our way in a dark room.
So I actually befriended a tax attorney who became came onto all this information, and he's now doing these sorts of things. He's kind of he knows a lot, and I'm gonna ask him about this.
Yeah,
See,
exciting.
yeah, and like try to maybe he already does like his own group on Telegram, and they're doing like bills of exchange with the IRS, where they write out bills of exchanges paid to the order of the to the U.S. Treasury, along with
Okay, now let me share something about that because of the knowledge that I've meshed together with someone who was in one of those classes that did get a great big fat tax return.
Sure.
What those folks are not teaching people is how to pay an assessment, which is not the same as an IRS tax bill. They're not teaching people how to pay an assessment when the IRS comes knocking after they get their big fat tax return, because that method does work. Absolutely. That is absolutely valid, perfect, perfectamundo. Someone in my group actually got a really nice big tax return using her CUSIP from her authenticated birth certificate and a bill of exchange and all of that. She did everything proper, and she got a really big one. It was the 2021 that they decided to go ahead and assess her before it was time for her to get all of her bookkeeping out and ready. And she's a full-time employed person, and so is her husband, right? So they go ahead and assess her for the big chunk she got last year, the year before. Well, listen, an assessment is our accounting back office telling us, hey, if you don't know how to do ESs and make sure your cookie jar stays full of that big chunky amount that you just got, you better find someone who's going to teach you how to do ESs and a V. Because you now have to pay because she didn't do ESs before she did the bill of exchange. Let this be the point that I was going to try and make, Marduk. So try and hold it there, okay? So if you prepay into your cookie jar and then you do the international bill of exchange way of filing, that's valid because you filled both sides of the ledger. What she didn't know to do was ESs and the V before she did her international bill of exchange. So about 12 months later, they did a bond call. Do you know what that means?
No.
They're checking in on the person who just drew down a line of their credits so that they could purchase a house and not have to go get a loan or whatever. It's the way these whales have been doing it forever and a day. The problem with people who get a big chunk is that they don't know how to handle their affairs after that chunk. So because she didn't prepay for the drawdown, she just sent the claim in and got paid on it. They came back and assessed. All they were looking for, in my humble opinion, is either a mirror payment, a duplicate payment, a duplicate bill of exchange, maybe for the same amount or more, but it needed to go into a withholding safekeeping container because it's almost like she took the credits without funding the account first. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. And what these guys were doing actually is they're not just sending a bill of exchange, they're sending a banker's accepted Jerome, can you mute please, brother? They're sending a banker's accepted statement that they're getting for their bills. Okay. So they're doing what you're doing on the ES, but with the credit from their bills.
Awesome. Okay.
And then
all right.
they're offsetting that.
Okay, they're offsetting it. There you go. Okay, so they are actually, okay, so what they're doing is they're doing a set off and then they're creating a receipt. Now, what's a receipt? It's a collectible credit sometime in the future. Correct. So by you guys learning to do the ES and the voucher today, what you've done is perfected a claim. You didn't create a
The
receipt.
drawdown.
That's right. You didn't just create a receipt. You actually perfected the claim by filling both sides of the ledger. Now you file your return and you just put the ES pay. Every tax you paid, you get back dollar for dollar. True story. People we're not in the mindset. So we've learned how to set off, like you just shared with me that they're doing, set off, accept it for value, send it back, set it off, this, that, the other. We just were never really taught the bond portion, the prepaid. How do we live prepaid? If I'm a whistleblower and I can't go into the marketplace, I'm working on a private ship because my life depends on me testifying against these banksters, let's say, and you can't go into the public, you are expected to send all your out-of-pocket expenses, like these gentlemen you told me that they just did. Their out-of-pocket expenses are evidenced by a receipt, and they're attaching a bill of exchange to it, requesting their credits back on their claim. So that's a perfected claim. That's a perfected claim. Okay. She got assessed a year later, which told me that her claim was not perfect yet. And that she now needed to look for help because she sent a payment. She did what she did the first time, but now she created too much credit. Now her ship's lopsided. She didn't know how to actually, she didn't know how to claim on her tax return as a married couple in order for the treasury in the background to balance the books properly.
Sure.
That's all. So yeah.
No, understandable.
I shouldn't have gone around the long story, but that's really the best way to sort of pick my brain and get the testimony out of the knowledge that I've gathered. So I'm glad that you let me kind of talk that out loud.
No, please. Yeah. I'm like everybody's already, I'm getting messages like, she's so awesome. This has been great. So I really appreciate the energy. And, we've been going 7 hours now. I don't know.
Here's my question for you, Marduk. So my question is, have they had inconsistent results? Is that why we're not doing that method?
Well, no, they're going to make it a class and sell it. They just explained what they're doing, but they're not giving the details till they have the class. So I don't know.
I see. Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not. It's